All right, Tope Con, hello and welcome everyone. How is everybody doing? It's the No Spots Podcast, episode 99. We are here, DC's People's Champ, along with the SIP. And before I get to the SIP, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are looking and saying, Champ, why in the hell are you wearing a face mask and a skull hat and your scully and you're indoors? Well, there's a perfectly good explanation for all of that. So I did a thing today. Before I reveal what that thing I did today was, Sip, how you doing?
Champ, I'm doing good. It's good to be here. Episode number 99. We're one away from number 100, ladies and gentlemen. Just glad that I'm done with Mother Nature, at least for now. Champ, how you doing, bruh?
Good, good. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm totally done with Mother Nature and everything like that. So again, I got this on my face because I did a thing finally. Something that I haven't done in over 6 months, and you all have seen it from watching these live streams and everything like that. My family pestered me all the way to the point that I just couldn't take it anymore. So today I finally did something. I got a haircut finally. I got a haircut finally. Hold on. Hold on, Seth. I got you. Hold on.
Yes. My man.
Yep, finally got a haircut. Big shout out to my guy Wuzu, who works down at what is the name of that shop? Jesus Christ, it's escaping me. I'll get it. I'll get it, and I'll say it later on because I'm going to post this on my IG on Instagram as well and stuff like that. I was just waiting to make the reveal right here on this here very podcast and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a haircut finally. But we don't need to talk more about my haircut and everything like that. What we need to talk about is the wrestling, right? Okay, got Hector in the house too. What's up, Hector? Uh, thank you. I appreciate the comments, man. He says he looks nice and it's not bad. Appreciate that, man.
Looks great, bro.
So a packed show for you guys. Of course, we're going to get into the. Thank you. We're going to get into the news and notes in just a bit, of course, as we start the show, and then we're going to get into some New Japan stuff. They're on their road to there's now the New Beginning USA tour has reached the first 2 nights or New Japan Strong, with the big night being the 26th, Mox versus Kenta for the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. But what happened on night one? I'll tell you about that. Plus, we'll preview February 25th, the final Road to Castle Attack show before the actual 2 night Castle Attack event taking place the 27th and 28th from Osaka Joe Hall. The first time they'll be in Osaka Joe Hall since July and the New Japan Cup and Dominion. So we'll talk about that. Then we will have a nice little recap of NXT Takeover Vengeance Day. Now, of course, we weren't on last week, so we didn't get a chance to preview it, give our grades, everything like that. But we're still going to recap it, things of that nature. That's what we do. Then after that, we will get into a good old-fashioned preview of the Elimination Chamber that's coming up on Sunday. And yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and say right now that I'm not too excited about it, but we'll see what happens. But we'll preview that as we normally do with pay-per-views and things of that nature, with a little bit of a test, which we'll talk about when we get to that bit. Then of course we'll do our weekend review. Raw was Raw, Smack was amazing. Wednesday night was pretty dope. Tuesday was pretty cool, and what you'll hear from the NXT UK report. Fuck me silly, Joe Coffey and Rampage Brown. But we'll get into that later on in the show. Now let's go ahead and just kick this thing off. Do such a solid favor and just ring that bell for me, please. Please. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll post this on Instagram in just a bit. I need to get to the news real quick. And in the news, first we got some happy news. So Eric had, Raymond Rowe, known as Eric of the Viking Raiders in WWE, he's been on TV for a little bit while his partner's recovering from neck surgery. Well, just a couple of weeks ago, this is going to be something we reported on last week, but unfortunately we weren't on. But this happened last week that Raymond, Eric, and his wife, the formerly employed Sarah Logan, they have officially welcomed their first child into the world. The baby's name is Raymond Cash Rowe. He weighed in 8 pounds, 11 ounces, and a height of 21 3/4 centimeters or inches or what have you. After 44 hours of labor, both mama and baby are happy and safe. He's perfect. That was the caption that Eric had on his Instagram when he posted the announcement. So, yeah, congratulations to those guys. Well, it's not on Instagram, it's on Twitter. I'm sorry. But congratulations to Sarah and Eric for the birth of their child. As you know, Sarah was released as part of that Black Wednesday that happened back in April 2020. She had announced that she was stepping away from pro wrestling to do something else. And then it was in July that she had announced that her and Eric were expecting. I actually watched the video that they did when they first found out that she was pregnant. It was one of the most wholesome things you would ever see in television. In television, media, social media, what have you, it was amazing, and I enjoyed every minute of it. So congratulations to Eric and Sarah. Welcome to the Parenthood Club. Let me tell you, it's a great club to be in as someone that knows having a 7-year-old. It's awesome. Other happy news to report is that Mia Yim, courtesy of her social media, announced that her and the Limitless one, Keith Lee, are now engaged. Yes, the two are going to be getting married pretty soon. Yim posted on Twitter on February the 11th, simply saying this: "I said yes, Mr. and Mrs. Lee," and then tagged Keith Lee. So this is very awesome as well, because of the fact, for people who may not know, I actually followed Mia Yim on Twitter even during her indie days, before she made it to WWE and everything like that. And she's had a rough go at it, and I've heard her story. She was in an abusive relationship years ago and was trying to find a way out, and it was with the help of Shelton Benjamin, who they treat each other like brother and sister, but they truly love each other. Shelton Benjamin got her out of that situation, and she was able to move on, get her wrestling career going, and now she's going to be married to Keith. And I think that's a great Cinderella story to talk about right there. So congratulations to Mia and to Keith on their impending nuptials coming up very, very soon. Congratulations to you two. Next, we are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the death of Hana Kimura, which happened on May the 23rd, 2020, unfortunately, suicide. We are about 2 months away from that, and it was recently announced by her mother. Kyoko Kimura, announced that there will be a memorial show taking place on the anniversary day itself, May the 23rd, from Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan. It'll be called See You Again. Tickets are planning to go on sale for the event at the end of February. And of course, with what's going on in Japan, it'll be limited. It'll be a very capped attendance, but I expect it to be a very, very good show. As many of you know, again, Hana unfortunately took her own life on May the 23rd, 2020, after dealing with a torrent of cyberbullying after an episode of, Terrace House. The episode of Terrace House that took place where she slapped the hat off of one of her roommates after he ruined her Wrestle Kingdom 14 gear in the wash, and she got demonized, she got villainized, and it led to her unfortunately taking her own life. And so now we're going to get this memorial show, and Tokyo Metropolitan Police confirmed in December that 300 hateful messages were sent to her from 200 accounts following the episode. One guy is actually, I think one guy is already being prosecuted for this as well in Tokyo. So I'm glad that they're taking this seriously and they're dealing with this. And hopefully justice for Hannah. And that's what we want. It's justice for Hannah. So again, May 23rd, 2021, on the 1-year anniversary of Hana Kimura's passing, there will be a show for her at Korakuen Hall. See You Again. Keep an eye out for that. Next, we got to talk about Heath. We haven't seen Heath on Impact since Eric Young and Joe Doring beat down Rhino and then closed the door, implying they were going to beat him down. I guess that was the way to write him off, because the injuries that he suffered in that Call Your Shot gauntlet match at Bound for Glory back in October are so severe that he's going to need surgery. He put out on social media recently that he has a sports hernia on the left side of his pubic bone, another hernia on the right side, a rip on both sides of his abdomen wall, and his abductors muscle is completely off the bone. And he said that the reason why it took him so long to get this surgery done was because of the fact that he had to find a surgeon that could do everything in one procedure and not just spreading it out over multiple procedures over multiple time periods and things of that nature. So yeah, he made his debut with Impact back on July the 18th of Slammiversary, following his release during Black Wednesday back last year. And it looked like he was starting to get his mojo. It was expected that he would win the Call Your Shot gauntlet so that he would get his contract and he would get a job at Impact. But he unfortunately, on a leg lariat, suffered the injury and was forced to be eliminated, thereby giving Rhino the victory. But it still gave him a contract. But now they wrote a story that said once you get medically cleared, you can sign your contract. And now he's going to have surgery, and it's going to be scheduled for March the 1st. So we wish Heath all the best and a speedy recovery. Can't wait to see what he does at Impact. I'm sure he's going to do awesome. Look at Brian Myers, right? What he's been doing as the most professional wrestler. That gimmick there has been awesome. Deonna Purrazzo's been killing it. They've been doing well, so I expect them to do well as well. And finally, some positive news. Earlier this week, it was reported Konnan had been hospitalized with not only a severe kidney issue, but also, while in the hospital, had tested positive for COVID-19. Well, we can safely and proudly announce that the pro wrestling legend Konnan is now out of the hospital. It was reported that he is doing better. He's out of the woods, and he was released from the hospital earlier today. But he will still have to remain quarantined as he has tested positive for COVID-19 very recently. So he'll have to get past that in order to be truly in the clear. The 7-year-old, again, back in 2007, had a kidney transplant, and the side effects from anti-rejection drugs caused a very, very weakened immune system for Konnan and things of that nature. But he's out of the woods. He knew he was in trouble. He went to the hospital after he fell sick and was bedridden, went to the hospital, and now he looks like he's on the mend. So that is absolutely positive news to hear from that, with Konnan being on the mend. So glad to hear that. You love to see it. So just keep Konnan in your prayers. Please keep Konnan in your prayers. Anyway, that's all I got for that. That's all I got for news and notes for this week. I didn't have it up on the lower, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And we're going to switch over and we're going to talk about New Japan. So what's happening in New Japan? Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. First and foremost, let's talk about Strong. It was the new beginning in the USA show, night 1. Remember, night 2 is the big one because that's where you're going to get Kenta versus Mox. I cannot wait for that. I swear to God, I can't wait for that. But on this night, you had 3 very intriguing matchups. You had Rocky Romero getting a victory for his team in a 6-man. You had Fred Rosser, who was grossly outsized by Hikuleo, but still managed to get a backside victory over the big man. And then in the main event, El Phantasmo was able to knock Leo Rush cold with the sudden death to prevent Leo Rush from getting revenge for his Super J-Cup loss. Phantasmo was able to get the victory, building more momentum for his junior heavyweight championship match that he has coming up on the 28th, as well as his first defense of the IWGP Junior Tag Championships that is coming up on the 25th, which we're going to get into, I say right about now. And yeah, it's on. They got another show on Monday, which is the 22nd, which is some more warm-ups for the upcoming 27th and 28th show. But the big one is the 25th. The 25th, you're going to see all 6-man tags throughout the show. 4 of the 5 matches, all 6-man tags. But they're all previews for what's to come. But the big one is the main event, which is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. You have Bushiromu, that's Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi, the current Junior Heavyweight Champion, going up against Ishimori at ELP, LP, I should say, defending their championships for the first time as the 63rd champions. Now, this match only came about because after Phantasmo challenged Hiromu after his great contest with Show back at New Beginning in Hiroshima, Hiromu said, well, you can have the match, but you got to give us a shot at those tag team championships. And so that's how this came about. So that's when we got this. And then, of course, you have the 27th and 28th Castle Attack itself. I'm still getting used to this new Chrome. This is weird. So night one Castle Attack is just mostly singles matches with that preview. Well, two of the singles matches previews the next night's heavyweight tag title match, while the other singles matches are, one is for the KOPW trophy and the others are serious grudge matches. The show's going to open with Tenkoji and Hiroshi Tanahashi, the never weight champion, going up against the United Empire, Great Khan, Jeff Cobb, and Will Ospreay. Again, this will be the last preview for Tanahashi and Okan before their never openweight championship match the next night. And then you have all your singles matches. You have your two 30-minute special singles matches between Chaos's tag team championship challengers and the current 2/3 of never openweight six-man tag champ, Yoshihashi and Kuroki Goto, going up against GOD. Yoshihashi will go up against Tangaloa. Goto will go up against Tama Tonga. The fourth match will be no time limit for the KOPW 2021 Provisional Trophy. Yano defending against Chase Owens, and the stipulations being proposed and voted on as we speak are as follows. Chase Owens has asked for a regular Texas strap match, meaning you're strapped to your opponent and you have to hit all 4 turnbuckles in succession without stopping to win. Toru Yano, in response, has proposed a YTR style Texas strap match. Sid's got an intrigued look on his face. Here's his version of the strap match, the YTR strap match. You don't touch all 4 corner pads in succession. You take them off, which is Yano's gimmick, is taking the corner pads off. You have to take the corner pads off in order to win. If you take off the last corner pad, you win. So that's what's being proposed right and voted on right now. And I'm interested in either or. I didn't vote in this one because I follow Chase and I'm subscribed to him on Twitch, but also I'm a fan of Yano, so I'm conflicted. But either way, it's going to be a strap match. It's just going to be whether it's going to be the traditional strap match or the unconditional version. Either way, we're going to find out. Right. Then after that, our semifinal and main events are 2 60-minute grudge matches. You have Tomohiro Ishii versus Jay White. Jay White blamed Ishii for his recent downward spiral, where Ishii beat him on the final night of block action in the G1, causing him to miss out on the finals. Then he went on to win the briefcase from eventual G1 winner Kota Ibushi, and he made guarantees that he was going to win the double gold at Wrestle Kingdom on night 2 because he took the night off for night 1. He didn't do that. He ended up losing to Kota Ibushi, who won the championship the night before. He cut a very impassionate promo in the backstage comments saying that he was done. He was going to have his one more contractually obligated appearance, which was at New Year's Dash, and then he was done. At New Year's Dash, he was beaten and pinned by Ishii due to the vertical drop brainbuster, and he went away for basically a few weeks. Next thing you know, late January during the Road to New Beginning tour, he reemerged the Corcoran and beat down on Ishii and decided that he's back and he's going to beat up on Ishii. Now they're going to finally get their one-on-one. We'll see what happens there. And then in the main event, Kazuchika Okada is going to be going up against Evil. This has been brewing since New Japan Cup last year when Evil, then with LIJ, decided that he was going to leverage Bullet Club and use their tactics to get the victory over Okada to win the New Japan Cup. He would then go on to turn on Naito, join Bullet Club, and then the next night win the double gold. Ever since then, this has been like the long game here. Now Okada wants his revenge. He wants his vengeance. And so now he's going to finally get it. They did have a bit of a singles match in Hiroshima on night 2, I believe it was. But Dick Togo kind of ruined it. It was a disqualification. That wasn't it. But now they're going to have a proper singles match, special singles match, 60 minutes to get out all of their aggression. And I expect this to be a very aggressive match. So there's that. And then finally, night 2. Where did it go? Where'd it go? Oh, for fuck's sake. Hold on. Sorry. I just literally just had it, and then all of a sudden I must have just exited out by mistake. Hold on. I got it. But night 2, the final night of Castle Attack is going to be very, very good. Here we go. There we go. So yeah, you're gonna have Tenkoji going up against Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay of the United Empire. You're gonna have Yano, Ishii, and Okada against Chase Owens, Jay White, Eve. So we'll know, then who won what and what's gonna happen there. But then it gets interesting because your final 4 matches are all championship matches. You have for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Championships, the Guerrillas of Destiny in their second defense going up against Yoshihashi Hiroki Goto. You have Hiroshi Tanahashi in his first defense as the 32nd never openweight champion going up against the Great Okan. You have Hiromu Takahashi defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship for the second time in this reign for him against El Phantasmo. Will Hiromu be a double champion? We'll find out when night 1, and then we'll go into there. And then for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, Naito's defending against Kota Ibushi. Now, there's a bunch of stories with this one, and I'm going to be real quick because I want to move on to talk about Vengeance Day and check out the comments from Hector because I know that's the only person in there commenting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look real quick. Yep. There you go. There we go. So, truly are limitless. Fuck me. The puns begin, Sith. The puns begin. They're limitless now, according to Hector. What the hell? What's y'all's opinion on the box-shaped Elimination Chamber almost 4 years after its introduction? Personally, I hate it, but it's whatever. It is what it is. But this main event for night 2, it's interesting because Kota Ibushi's been talking about he wants to unify the 2 belts. He wants to take the 2 belts, right, and meld them into one. And because of that, Naito's not a fan of that, so he decided he's going to come out at the end of night 2 in Hiroshima for New Beginning and challenge Ibushi, but not for both championships, but for the Intercontinental Championship, which to date, Naito still has not explained really why he did that. But it's so intriguing because this will be the first time since those 2 belts were brought together as the double gold back at Wrestle Kingdom 14 last year that one of the belts is being defended and not both of them. Every time the championships were defended, it was both of them. So now we're going to get one defended, and that's the Intercontinental Championship and not the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Also, something else to keep an eye on when people watch on the Monday and on Thursday in Corcoran, as well as Castle Attack night 2. Naito was dealing with a knee injury to the point that he could not compete in the final Corcoran show this week, as well as weekend events that happened this weekend that were non-televised. He did make appearances coming out to speak with the crowd in the beginning, but his injury and him being out on the last Corcoran show was like a shock. Like they literally had to flip around the card at the last minute, which gave us a really good banger of a match between Sonata and Nagata. That was the 4th match on the card. Unfortunately, they had they had a glitch in their technology. So right now, if you didn't watch the live stream, you won't be able to watch the archive of night of Okada and Show in the main event against Evil and Togo. So that sucks. That sucks, but I understand. But yeah, Naito got to keep an eye on his leg because unfortunately he did injured and he was out. He's out for the last 3 events, but he says he's gonna be back Monday. So we'll see how that looks. Mafia feeling what's going on, poor Naito. Yeah. But again, he made himself visible. He made himself visible and made sure people saw him. So that's one thing. That's a good thing. Anyway, anywho's, so that's our look at New Japan for this week. Again, next week, this time next week, I'll be recapping night 1 of Castle Attack, and then the following week will be a recap of night 2 of Castle Attack, as well as a recap of next week's New Japan Strong, and to find out if Mox retained his championship or did he lose it to Kenta. We will find out next week. Let's talk about Vengeance Day. Yeah, I tried it. Okay. I tried something. It's okay. So Vengeance Day happened last week, with this past Sunday. And like I said, normally we would have a podcast and we would preview it, give grades, all that good shit. But unfortunately, we could not do that. Mother Nature had other ideas. And so here we are. Speaking of Mother Nature, for everybody that's in Texas, Oklahoma, and the other areas that have been severely affected by recent winter weather, dealing with power outages, no heat, no water, our prayers and our thoughts are with you. Stay strong. Stay positive as best you can. It'll get better. You just gotta pray on it. That's all I can give you guys. Right. Oh shit. Sage. Sage is here on his Twitch. What's up, Sage?
What's going on, Sage? And Hector, doing great, man. Doing great. To answer his question from earlier, I'm doing all right. How you doing, Hector? And how you doing, Sage?
All right. Oh, Hector's got a question. My question is, why weren't both belts defended separately from the beginning, a la Seth Rollins at Night of Champions 2015 versus Sting WWE title and Cena US title? That's a good question, Hector. I mean, I think a lot of people who are longtime New Japan wrestling fans will tell you that sometimes Gato's booking may or may not make sense to most wrestling fans, but it'll make sense to others. So I really couldn't tell you. I think that there was the idea that Naito did float around the idea at one point of defending them separately on the same night, but it didn't happen. But at least now we're getting it. It may have taken a year, but now we're getting it. We're finally getting both championships being defended, and it's starting with the IC title. So eventually we may get a situation where they have multiple nights. They'll have 2-night stream, 2-night events, and the double gold is defended on separate nights with the Intercontinental title on night 1 and then the IWGP Heavyweight title on the second night. It'll get there eventually. Hola, gentlemen. Yeah, Sage. I even asked y'all what happened during the stream on Sunday. Yeah, like I think I did mention it to you, Hector, that Sith had dealt with a power outage. What was it, Sith? A 12-hour power outage?
12 hours. A little over 12 hours, yeah.
Yeah, he had a 12-hour power outage due to the ice storm that hit down in the Richmond area. And we got ice up here too, but it wasn't as bad as what they got down there. And so, yeah, he had to bail out of where he's at now to go somewhere else and couldn't really do the podcast. So plus we needed a week off anyway, just to get some refresh a little bit. So it's always good to have a week off. As much as we love doing these, it's always good to have some time, a little bit of a break in between there, All right, let's talk about Vengeance Day. Vengeance Day had 5 matches, no pre-show matches. Of course, you had your 3 title matches, the North American Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, and the NXT Championship. And then you also had your 2 Dusty Cup Classic finals. You had the Men's Cup finals, and then you had, for the first time ever, the Women's Cup finals, man. Pandemic has messed everything up. Yeah, pretty much, dude. It's been like that ever since last year, dude. But if I was champion, I would have defended them separately. Yeah, true. I feel you. But again, like I said, the booking, we don't know what the booking was, how they planned it out and everything like that, but we're just gonna go with it. Anyway. So we're going to start off. We're going to go through each match and break down each match and everything like that. And again, for everybody who joined me for the live stream on Sunday, appreciate you guys so much. Shadow, Hector, I think Dem came in at one point, Sith. It was quite a few people that ducked in and out, at Not Your Average C, everything like that. Remember, our live reactions videos are Twitch exclusive. So if you're not following us on Twitch, you need to get off of your rear end and follow us on Twitch, damn it. What are you waiting for? Well, it's not on this gimmick here, but Twitch.tv/True No Spots Pod. So get on it. Follow us on Twitch, please. Because here's the funny thing: if we get 50 followers, we become affiliate, which means we can provide channel points to redeem for stuff. You can subscribe, give subscriptions, give bids, stuff like that. It's fun shit, man. Let me tell you something. I've been getting into this Twitch shit right now, man. And then we might do other stuff on this Twitch channel besides just podcasts and live reactions. Who knows? But we got to get to affiliate first to do all that. So help us get there. Tell your friends. Okay, enough babbling. Let's start off the night open with the women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Final. It would be Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart going up against Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai. Do 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 do. Dakota Kai. Do 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 do. Dakota Kai. Do 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 do. And Raquel Gonzalez. And Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez would get the victory. I really thought it was going to be Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart here, but it was Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez gets the victory, and they become the first ever women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament winners with that victory, getting themselves a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Sith, how did you feel about this start and the opening of this here event?
Okay. Now, this was a really solid opener when you think about it long and hard and you give it some thought. It was a solid opening. And as I said in the comments, and I've said here on the pod time and again, the creative on the main roster of WWE needs to take note what happens in NXT, not only with women's singles, but women's tag team wrestling. Because the one thing that crossed my mind through the entire match was, do not let these teams go to the main roster because they don't know how to do women's tag team wrestling there. They just don't. It was just an amazing match. And it was fast-paced. And even on the rewatch, the just under 18 minutes like that just went by fast. You wouldn't have known that it was about 17 and a half minutes long if you're not following the time, because it just went by. There was just so much action. And therefore, excellent way to open the night. Champ, your take.
Yes. I enjoyed this immensely. Again, I was surprised by the result. I really thought it was going to be the babyface win because then you would set up the babyface team of Ember and to go up against the heels of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. So I figured that's what they're going to do. But they really threw a curveball on us by giving us Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, which for anybody who follows NXT long term will know that there is some history there between Dakota Kai and Shayna Baszler. Back when Shayna was dominating as women's champion, she did break Dakota Kai's arm. So long-term storytelling there. Now, and then also the prospect of a Nia Jax and Raquel Gonzalez showdown. I mean, this all writes itself, to be honest with you. But it's, it is what it is. I enjoyed the match. It was very quality. It was great for what it was supposed to do, and it set us up for a nice little 2-week run here where you're going to be hyping this up. Maybe Dakota Kai and Nia Dakota Kai and Raquel show up on Raw and stuff like that. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? I mean, I would like that. It would make Raw somewhat watchable if they were to show up on Raw and show up fucking Shayna and Nia. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place today. This is what happens when you take a week off. Fuck me. Anyway, but that's what happened. The match was really good. Really great way to open. And like Sif said, it was under 18 minutes. 17:41 was the official time. Then we would go to what a lot of people, myself included, would say was the match of the night. And it was Johnny Gargano defeating Kushida to successfully retain the North American Championship in 24 minutes and 49 seconds in what was an absolute classic match. one of the intriguing storylines was, and I missed this during the live stream. I don't know why. I must have been looking at my phone like an asshole, looking at, because I probably had the Twitch stream up on my phone and was looking at comments and stuff. But Austin Theory got jacked by that lunatic Dexter Lumis. Yeah, about Dexter Lumis as they were walking out to the ring, and it was like, wait, where did he go? And it's like, Indy, Candace, go find him, and Johnny had to go do it on his own, and Johnny proved he could do it on his own still, which is awesome. So what else do you want from this match, aside from the fact that it was such a just a classic matchup? Kushida still can go. I mean, everybody who's followed him through his days in New Japan is one of the greatest junior heavyweights they've had, and that was awesome. I just enjoyed that match so much. Ember don't want to come back to the main roster. She don't need to go back. Fuck that. And the banger of the night set stage. What say you, Seth? How did you feel about this match?
All right. You take two submission specialists. You take two technically sound wrestlers. Throw them in with some brawling as well. Throw them into a blender. Mix it up, blend it. Taking aside the early jacking of Austin Theory by Dexter Lumis right before the match started. I mean, it was just as Gargano was headed out to the ring when Theory got jacked. And what you got was one amazing match. This one, along with the next match that we're going to cover, may not be in our top 5 of 2021 when we do that next January, but it's a match that's going to stick with you all year. Okay? I can see why Gargano fans don't want the call-up to happen. He's priceless. And this is some of the best work I've seen Johnny Gargano do since probably when DIY first split up. This is the best we've seen out of Gargano since then. And it was just an awesome match. Kushida can still get that work in. Just fantastic match.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was I accidentally muted myself instead of trying to switch the layout. Jesus Christ. But no, that was the match of the night. I mean, and the fact that you didn't have a lot of crazy kickouts, it was very technically sound, and it told the right story. You can't ask for a better match. And Hector's right. Gargano could feel like 24 minutes. It didn't, but it was 24 minutes. It was almost 25 minutes. But it went so well and so fluidly, it just didn't feel like it was that long. They could have went 30 minutes and I wouldn't have been mad. That's how good the match was. To me, it was that good, dude. Okay, I just put that up on the before and after of what I look like before and what I look like now. So now it's out there. Anyway, next for the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic trophy, the grizzled young veterans going against MSK. And man, let me tell you something. This was another match right here. If Kushida and Gargano wasn't on this card, this was for sure a match tonight, for me at least. But Seth, I want to get your thoughts on my thoughts.
Yeah. In my now LA Knight voice. Did you see the Doomsday device outside the ring? The 450 splash as well, because it's a shock because Grizzled Young Veterans is a lot more like FTR and less acrobatic in style. Just a jaw-dropping into the men's Dusty Rhodes Classic this year. Tag Team Classic this year for the Dusty Cup. And definitely is a match that it probably won't be in your top 5 of the year, but it could very well be in the top 10 because it was that much fun to watch. The contrast in styles, Grizzled Young Veterans going outside of their wheelhouse to put in moves as well. I just fucking love this match. And it's why MSK excelled in Ring of Honor. It's why they excelled in Impact. Why they're going to excel in NXT as well. Champ?
Like I said, you just mentioned one of the spots that they did in They device Tope. Fucking hell. You saw my and I was like, that caught me so off guard. I was not ready for that at all, dude. But it was amazing. And on the stream, I said, this is MSK's time. They are really pushing these kids because they are so fucking talented. They've shown how talented they are, yet they really didn't have a lot of championship success wherever, like, especially Impact. But I mean, they were great characters, but where were the accomplishments? I think they finally get their accomplishments here, and they deserve it. Winning the Dusty Cup is the great first step. 2 weeks' time, they're going to get their opportunity. Orny Lorcan, Birch, and we'll predict that next week, how we feel about those two tag team championship matches that are taking place on March 3rd, which coincidentally is the go-home show for Dynamite, where we're getting Shaq and Jay Cargill against Red Velvet and Cody. So, yeah, think about that one. Anyway, Hector said the Grizzly Young veterans in the finals again. Yeah, next year. They win it next year. They might be building this up. This might be a long con right here to set up for them to finally get there again next year and win it. We'll see. Sage thinks it's match of the year so far, that match. It's a contender. Like I said, and I'm going to stand on the ledge with this one. If you don't have Kushida versus Gargano on this card, this is match of the night. This is absolutely match of the night. And this one was Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne. And I still think that this match, MSK and the Grizzly Young Veterans, is the match of the night. That's just me. That's just how I feel. All right, next. Io Shirai defeats Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm to retain the NXT Women's Championship. This match went 12 minutes and 13 seconds. It was a fair match. I think the one thing that kind of killed it, though, was when Toni Storm was wiping off the table to try to set up a table spot. The table just collapsed. And it was just like, oh, fuck, what do we do now? The fact that they were able to improvise that was great. It was great. It was absolutely, they show how good professionals they are. They were able to improvise, keep it going. The finish was a little to me. It was still a fair match to me. That's all I really can say about it. It was a fair match. It was fair. Sith, what did you think about it? How did you feel about this triple threat match?
You know what was overlooked because of the botch? Toni Storm doing a diving headbutt off the top rope. That is not in Toni Storm's wheelhouse. And by the way, Bam Bam Bigelow was smiling down from the wrestling heavens at her for doing that. That was his signature back in the day. Again, when women are allowed to wrestle, the women in NXT step up. All three women hit their finishers. Shirai, the genius of the sky, she's awesome. She prevailed. Except for the botch, there's a lot to like about the match. But that botch really, oh boy. I don't blame Triple H for being allegedly livid at that. Because, man, that was bad. But other than that, good match though.
No, Triple H wasn't livid. He was more impressed at the fact that they were able to improvise on the fly from that spot and keep going instead of getting flustered and doing something that would have thrown the match all into chaos. So there you go. I mean, it happens. It's a table. It happens.
Yeah.
Back to what Sage is saying on Twitch. She's saying that MSK versus Grizzly and Veterans match of the year for tag. Well, it's early. It's early. So that could change, but no, you're right. Yeah, that's a contender for match of the year for tag.
Could be a contender.
I think Toni Storm was trying to become both the new NXT Women's Champion and Genius of the Sky. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know, but it was good to see her step out of her wheelhouse, though, I have to admit.
And then, of course, we get our main event for the NXT Championship. Finn Balor going up against Pete Dunne. Good, hard-hitting match. This is British Strong Style at its finest, folks. And they went at it, and the end result was Finn Balor getting the coup de grace, getting, I believe, the 1916 DDT, doing all that stuff, and getting the victory. The match went 25 minutes and 11 seconds, and it was just phenomenal. And then we'll talk about the aftermath in just a bit. But Sith, what did you think about this match?
Yeah, let me throw that aside here. I'm doing a little Joker paraphrasing from 89, the only shifting over the screen here for that. This was a solid main event. And even if the shock ending post-match had been left out, it would have been a solid ending for the night, basically. You had Dunn getting to work in. He was doing his joint manipulation thing because that's one of his specialties. Balor doing what he does best. It was British strong style wrestling. It's the wrestling that champ I watch every Thursday religiously now, except on NXT. Balor retained with not only the coup de grace, but the 1916. I'm going to turn it over to Champ because we're not ready to touch after the match yet, but I did enjoy the match, but it wasn't as great as Gargano Kushida.
Hector, no, I don't think Demon Finn Balor should have showed up in the match against Pete Dunne. 0 cents. There's no rhyme or reason for bringing out the Demon. I think we're ever going to see the Demon for quite a while because this Finn Balor is it's got more of an edge. He's the Prince, so the thing is on the back burner for a good little while. But no, I agree with this match was very, very solid. But again, it just reached that level of Kushida Gargano's match of the night. I think this was the third best match of the night, honestly. And I'm nitpicking here. All 5 matches were absolute bangers. So ranking them, it would be tough, but Kushida Gargano is going to be number 1 regardless of that. And then MSK, Grizzly Young Veterans, is going to be number 2. And this match was number 3. Again, they had a story, and they told that story. All the joint manipulation, and then Balor with the taking out of the mouthpiece to ensure he knocked him the fuck out, and then hitting him with his finish to get the victory was absolutely a great finish. I have to tell you, especially because, and then I like the sell that Balor had. He had his fingers all curled up because he had been ripping at him all match long. That's how you sell, dude. That is how you sell. I love every minute of it, dude. But bring it back in for double view here because we gotta talk about this. Talk about this ending. So after the match was over, of course, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan decided they're going to jump into the ring and jump Finn Balor with Dunn. They jump him, and then the Undisputed comes out to make the save. Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, and Roderick Strong. They stand tall in the ring and making it seem like Finn is standing with the UE. And next thing you know, Adam Cole absolutely super kicks Finn Balor. And we're like, oh, whoa. But then came the ultimate shock. As Kyle O'Reilly was sitting there wondering, what is he doing? What's going on? Because he's got that mutual respect with Finn and everything. They're trying to help him out dealing with this. Adam Cole super kicks Kyle O'Reilly? Yeah. Kyle O'Reilly got super kicked by Adam Cole, and he just leaves. And Roddy's sitting there like, what the fuck? And Finn and Kyle O'Reilly are just laid out. Sith.
I'll never forget.
What do we say about this?
Champ got the quick instant reaction after we went off the air. I told him, I'm speechless. I had no words because Champ had this look on his face as he's closing the stream down of like, what the fuck just happened here? And then I went in, and then I messaged him in our little group chat on Facebook. I'm like, bruh, I'm speechless. Apparently we're going to be getting answers this Wednesday as to why Cole did what he did. But deep down, I thought it was a masterful way to end things on a major plot twist, because now you have this story building where Roderick Strong is caught in the middle between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor. And as we'll get into in the weekend review, possibly, Kyle is not in the mood to have Roderick Strong as a peacemaker. This had to be the biggest shock in NXT Takeover since probably Takeover New Orleans 2018 back in April WrestleMania weekend, when Roderick Strong betrayed Pete Dunne and joined the Undisputed Era. This is how shocking it was.
Good shout on that one. That was a good shout. Like I said, Sage said it best. Blew my fucking mind. Facts. And Hector was shocked by it too, and he just reminded me of something. Yeah, it has been a whole year since Samoa Joe's wrestled. Can y'all believe that? But anyway, no, my mind was so blown by that. I was just not expecting that. I'm sitting here, just like, okay, they're standing together. I see the little thing there, the little gimmick there. They're gonna go off the air. I'm gonna go off the air. I'm gonna go smoke my cigar and enjoy it and just chill out so that way I can get ready for bed and everything like that. And next thing I know, boom, the super kick the Finn. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay, I get it, because Finn's the champion. Finn's the champion. Maybe he wants the title back. So I'm like, okay. And then Kyle's getting on him, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna probably go up. He's gonna probably walk away, and then that'll be it. Then he kicks Kyle O'Reilly, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And I was done at that point. I was like, I'm done. I can't. Like, the UE have been NXT for the last 4 or 5 years, and now they're pretty much done. It's like, no, we can't have this. There were I guarantee you, there were grown men that were crying after that pay-per-view. I guarantee you. I wasn't one of them, but I guarantee you there were grown men that were crying because they realized one of the best factions in wrestling is now done. And that means that one of the most underrated theme songs is gonna be most likely gone. And that's what makes me sad. But anyway, but that's before we finish our recap, grade. I gave it an A-. Sith, what did you give it?
I gave it a rewatch on Monday and gave it a solid A. I mean, and I got a chance to watch No Surrender as well on Monday as well. So I'm going to do a little segue here. We go from a really good pay-per-view weekend. Oh, Jesus Christ. Champ, I'm giving it an A, but dog. We go from fun to, oh, shit.
Yeah. Before, like, I'm gonna put it up here. We're gonna do the preview for Elimination Chamber, and it's before I get into the actual thing. I was actually on the Twitch stream for Jess on Drums. Anybody who's a wrestling fan knows who Jess on Drums is. She actually used to do her own live stream reactions for Raw and also pay-per-views. She's also famous. She also has a reaction videos that she did when she used to come to the States before COVID. And she famously was on a compilation when Edge made his return last year of her absolutely fucking marking the fuck out to the point that she started crying because she could not believe it was fucking Edge. But Jess was on, she was doing a Twitch stream playing Grand Theft Auto, and even she said it, and I gotta agree. Who is really excited for this Elimination Chamber? This card is not generating any excitement for this Elimination Chamber. Really, it isn't. Hector gave it a B plus. The Adam Cole shock pushed it over the edge. Okay, yeah, like I said, I gave it an A minus because all the matches were just so good. They were so there. They were bangers. It was not really a bad match on the card. That's why I gave it an A minus. I think the whole betrayal thing is what really was really like because of the shock factor. But Chambers is not. I'm excited to be honest with you. But we're going to sit here for 3 hours and react to it and watch along with you great people over on Twitch. So again, make sure you following us on Twitch. We go live at 6:25 if there's a pre-show match. If it's not a pre-show match, we'll go live at 6:55 to preview the card. We're pretty sure there's going to be a pre-show match at it. It's WWE, it's main roster. They typically put a pre-show match on. So expect this to go live around 6:25-ish. Thanks to it being on Twitch, we don't have a set time. We can just go on whenever we feel like. Sage said A++, y'all crazy. Relax, Sage, relax. Anyway, so far we only have 5 matches on this card. 5 matches. We have 2 Elimination Chamber matches, and we have 2 championship match. We have 2 chamber matches, and a total of 3 championship matches. Right, 1, 2, 3. No, 4. I'm sorry, 4 championship matches with 2 Elimination Chamber matches. 1 Elimination Chamber matches being for championship. And Sith had a very crazy idea. I forgot about when I was writing up my predictions, but so I said I'm going to do this. He had an idea of us predicting. Now, this won't count towards our prediction totals. I'm putting it out there right now because it's hard to really predict this. But he wants us to predict who gets eliminated when. Basically, the order of elimination. Why not? Fuck it. Let's see what happens. So let's kick this off, Seth. Let's talk about Women's Tag Title match was just announced after SmackDown. You got Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Now, remember, Bianca Belair has still not made her decision on who she's going to be facing at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship. All speculation is saying Sasha, but we don't know yet. But again, this has been put together. Granted, again, we also found out this week that Nia and Shayna are supposed to defend those titles in 2 weeks against Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, right? So I'm not even going to give no analysis on this one. I'm picking Shayna and Nia. It makes zero fucking sense to take the titles off of them now when you've already built up the storyline between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez and Shayna and Nia. Why would you build that up and then turn around and take the titles off of them and put them on Shayna and Sasha? I just don't see it. And then even if you do and then have them lose it a week later, that's stupid. No. Shayna and Nia retain. Seth, what do you got to say? I'm pretty sure you have analysis. I don't. It's just a made-up match. I just don't see a title change.
This is where last-minute booking can go wrong. Okay? It's one of the painful woes I have for this whole entire card is that it's practically 11th-hour booking. Nothing against the news that was put out that we'll definitely touch on during the weekend review. I like the idea of Banks and Bianca Belair teaming up because they could add something to a storyline if we can get that match at WrestleMania. Hopefully that'll get the story started, if you will. But I got Jackson Baszler because you need to sow deeper dissent between Banks and Belair to help build their possible match. And also, again, as Champ said, Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, they have a match in 2 weeks on NXT. Why are you going to fuck that up? Jackson Baszler retain.
Facts. Yeah, Shayna and Nia retain. Next, you have what is still being advertised as a triple threat match between Riddle, Keith Lee, and Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title. Again, we haven't seen Keith Lee in forever. We don't know what's going on with him health-wise. We do know Mia Yim did track COVID-19. but she has since recovered. She is back. She was back on WWE TV recently. But we don't know what's going on. There's been all these crazy reports about Keith Lee being basically killed because he's not the prototype that Vince likes, which I don't subscribe to, but that's neither here nor there. But right now it's a triple threat match. But we've only been seeing Lashley and Riddle. So my question to you, Seth, is how does Keith Lee, real quick, Diet and Shayna Retain set up Belair picking Banks? Oh, that's a good shot from stage. So with the fact that we've been seeing most of the focus on Lashley going after Riddle and no sign of Keith Lee, how will Keith Lee factor in this?
Okay. He's going to factor in one of two ways. One, he pulls off a monumental upset and becomes United States champion, and again, shuts Meltzer's fucking mouth up for a good while, which would be nice. Or two, he and Riddle go through along with Lashley, go through a solid match, and Lashley retains. I'm going to tell you right now, Lashley is almost done being United States champion. He's had an incredible run with the title. I think he retains, but I think either at WrestleMania or the pay-per-view after WrestleMania, he's going to drop the belt.
Lashley's retaining. And I just don't see Keith Lee being much of a factor, except for just doing what he this awesomeness and stuff like that doesn't seem to fit what Vince wants, which I again don't subscribe to. But I think in the end, Lashley does retain. I wouldn't be mad or shocked if there is a title change, but I just think Lashley's going to continue. Keith Lee, new champion, says Sage. Hector could keep pulling Roman at Payback 2020 and show up at the end and steal the pin. I don't know. I don't know. They would have had to, in order to do that, they would have had to have had Keith be on Raw on that kind of time, with that kind of energy. And because he wasn't on Raw, I don't know. But we'll see. And of course, you have your two chamber matches. First chamber match will be for the WWE Championship. You have Drew McIntyre defending against AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, and Sheamus, who will enter the chamber last. So he will be in one of the 4 spots and enter the chamber last. Keith Lee, new member of the Hurt Business. I hear somebody floating that shit around.
Oh,
that doesn't sound like a bad idea. But we'll see. That
would be wild.
But again, WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. So, Sith, who you got winning, and what's the order of elimination? No need for analysis. Just who you think is winning. What's the order of elimination?
Okay, I think Drew retains. Whether my 2 possible questions happen or not, Drew retains. My order of elimination: Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, and Sheamus is last to be eliminated.
Okay. I agree that Drew retains. I think Kofi is the first to be eliminated. Hardy second. AJ third. Sheamus will eliminate Randy Orton, and then Drew will beat Sheamus. So I agree. So I think it's going to be Kofi, Jeff, AJ, Randy, Sheamus. That's mine. All right. The number 1 contenders turn in Elimination Chamber match to determine who will face Roman Reigns for the championship. You have Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, King Corbin, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan. I will start here. I am picking Cesaro, and I wrestled with this for a good little while, dude. I wrestled with this for a while, who I was going to pick. It was between KO, Cesaro, and D-Bry. I had Jay King Corbin and Sami Zayn weren't even a factor. It was between those three. And I was trying to figure that out. Who in the hell am I going to pick here? And something just popped in my head like, yo, Cesaro's been on such a roll recently. Yeah, he's been on such a roll. I said, you know what? Maybe he gets that opportunity. I'm so that's what I'm going with Cesaro. And I think the order of elimination is going to be, I think Sammy gets eliminated first, King Corbin second, D-Bry third, which is going to suck, Kevin Owens fourth, and I think Cesaro beats Jey Uso. That's mine. Go for it.
Okay. I go with KO. For some odd reason, I'm going with KO. I think that he's going to betray people like crazy. Because, face it, it was alluded to last night. The Festival of Friendship. Yeah. My order of eliminations, Corbin and Zayn are out first and second. I mean, they're afterthoughts. I don't know why they're in the match. They just are. Then I've got Cesaro. I've got Jay. Then to wrap it up, Daniel Bryan versus KO. KO wins.
Okay. Sage seems to think that Randy will be the first to be eliminated due to Alexa. Who knows? They might do that oogly boogly bollocks. We'll see. Doesn't know about others, but Drew retained, and then he thinks Jay will be the first to be eliminated out of that one. So, yeah. Cool. But I'm going with Cesaro, and you're going with KO, which means that for the championship, it will be Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. Of course, I'm going with Roman Reigns because they have been setting us up for Reigns versus Edge. So I'm going with Reigns. Mob Boss Roman will retain regardless of who comes out of the chamber. Mob Boss Roman retains. Seth?
This is really a no-brainer. It really is. It's Mob Boss Roman. It's Michael Corleone. It's the head of the table winning this match. It doesn't matter if it's Champ's pick of Cesaro or my pick of Kevin Owens to go up against him. This story ends regardless at Payback. No matter who loses here, it ends at Payback as we get Edge versus Roman.
You mean WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what we're getting.
Also, we got to remember, guys, that we have one more pay-per-view between now and WrestleMania, which is Fastlane. I'm like, dude, this is way too many fucking pay-per-views. Like, can't we this be the final one and then we just get billed to WrestleMania for fuck's sake? But anyway, that's just my opinion. Anyway, Sage is thinking KO is going to win the title. Sage, you're a mad bastard. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. Maybe he does win it, and then Roman wins it back at fucking fucking Fastlane. I don't know. Fuck. But
who knows?
All right, Sith. Sith.
Bruh.
I'm not even going to fully explain this. What my preliminary grade is? C.
Hey, bro.
This is why it's a C. And this is something you have brought up in this podcast many a times before when we preview these pay-per-views. The gimmick matches are going to be what makes this an average pay-per-view. Once again, it's a gimmick match. And in this case, two of the same gimmick match that is going to make this pay-per-view average. You take away these gimmick matches, this pay-per-view is below average. You have a put-together tag title match with 4 women, and it was based on, what happened this past Friday on SmackDown, along with, them somewhat teaming with each other the week before, Sasha and Bianca, I should say. Yeah, we got, Riddle and Lashley have been the ones that have been carrying this feud for the U.S. title. Lee's been nowhere to be found, and now he's inserted into this. And there's still speculation he may not be there. And in the Universal title match, who's going to be the contender without that Elimination Chamber? So, C, at least a C. What about you, Steph?
All right. Champ, you know what I thought I was watching when I typed up my preliminary grade this morning? To build the Hell in a Cell last year. Remember, it was like a 3-week build, and we didn't get the matches starting to fit in to Hell in a Cell until 2 weeks prior, 13 days prior. Here we go with quick building bullshit again. And this is just a sad sign of it. 3 weeks ago was the Royal Rumble. And in the 3 weeks, the first week was squarely focused on Fallout, which I get, without a single attempt to jumpstart a build until SmackDown that week, when Paul implied to Adam Pearce, who is one of the quote, managers, if you will, producers, if you will, managers, that he was at risk of getting fired on screen because matches hadn't been announced for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Gonzo booking brought the preliminary grade down. You're expecting the chamber matches to elevate everything. Here we go again. Gonzo booking brought down the preliminary grade for Hell in a Cell and was confirmed with the final grade. WWE proved me and Champ wrong. I agree with the Champ. C.
Right. And Hector just gave us a nice gentle reminder that this will be the last pay-per-view that you will be able to watch on the US version of the WWE Network before everything goes to Peacock. So there you go. This will be the last one on the network proper before it goes to Peacock. And he also has KO winning the chamber and facing Roman immediately after, which I believe is the plan, which is why I think it'll be the semi-main event. And then the main event will be for the Universal title. So that's what I'm picking there. All right, so that is our look ahead. Look at Elimination Chamber coming up this Sunday. Remember, tune into our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/True, and we will be talking about and watching and reacting to the Elimination Chamber. I got a feeling this is going to be a boring fucking stream, dude. Because I don't know. These matches don't do it for me. They just don't. They don't do it.
They don't. And also a reminder, before we go into the week in review, our predictions will be up tomorrow morning at around between 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern time on our Facebook page, facebook.com/NoSpotsPod.
Good one right there, Sid. Good job. That was awesome. Yep, we will have our predictions up, so make sure you check those out. If you want to chime in with your own predictions in the comments, please feel free to do so. Sooner or later, for one of the bigger pay-per-views, maybe for WrestleMania, we might do a predictions contest where if you have a better record than anybody else who picks, including myself and Sith, then you'll win a gift card. Somebody was part of that for one of our events last year and won themselves a Visa gift card. We might do that for WrestleMania. Who knows? Sage hating on Peacock. All right, Sage. All right, let's get into the weekend review here. You know what's funny? I just want to put this out here, right? I'm gonna put this out here because this is funny. We are already into the weekend review, and this podcast has already gone longer than this week's episode of Dark has, and we're not even. Just saying. I'm just saying. We have already gone longer than this week's episode of Dark, and we're still now going into our main bit, which is the weekend review. I'm just saying, and I'll explain later. But right now, let's talk about Raw. Raw did Raw things. This is the go-home show to the Royal Rumble, and the only thing of note that came out of this that I could think of was the gauntlet match, which went pretty much the entire third hour, right? But for those of you who are familiar, we have redone our weekend review segment where now we do 2 out of 3 falls. We each pick 5 bits out of the show that we thought stood out, either a good way or a bad way. And then we present them to each other. And we ask each other, pick 2 of those that were good and 1 that was bad. Sometimes, some of these shows, it's harder than others to pick something good, while in some of these, it's harder to pick something bad. Here on Raw, I think it's easy to pick something bad. It's going to be very difficult to pick something good, but I think I was able to find 2 good things from this that I think you can identify, Seth. So let's start with you. Here are your 5. Dark was short this week. Oh, you'll find out, Hector. I'll tell you in just a minute when we get into Tuesday night. All right. So, Miss TV, that opened the show. with Drew McIntyre. Sage, what do you mean Royal Rumble? Did I say Royal Rumble? Did I say it? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I just be talking. All right, Miz TV featuring Drew McIntyre that opened the show. And, with the talking, and then Miz kept cutting them off. Drew said, if you cut him off again, you're going to regret it. He cut him off, and he gave him a kiss, as in a Glasgow kiss, and then threw his money in the bank, and then left. And then Miz said, I'm not in the match. I'm Mr. Money in the Bank. Blah. Okay? Number 2, the gauntlet match. The entire gauntlet match. 3, Lacey Evans announcing in the middle of a match that she's pregnant. Number 4, Kofi Kingston versus The Miz, where if Kofi won, he would get into the chamber. If Miz won, Morrison gets into the chamber. And number 5, Shayna Baszler versus Lana. I dare you to find the 2 that were good. I did. Oh, fuck. I don't know. Sorry. Go. All right. I dare you to find the 2 that's good. I don't know. I think you're going to pick the wrong 2, or you might pick the right 2. Go for it, Seth.
The gauntlet match would be my first pick for the good thing.
Bingo. All right. Bingo.
You read my mind there, my brother. Because Champ knows I love gauntlet matches. And people are complaining to me. People were actually complaining to me in my inbox on Twitter that, we took over the last hour of Raw. Yeah, it did. But it salvaged a very, very shitty episode of Raw, though. Okay, so, I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the caveat to it, where the winner, their pot opens up last. That was a good way to wind it into the Elimination Chamber, because you had everyone there. About the only thing I would have done differently is with those 6 people, in the gauntlet match, what I would have done is just done it like in reverse, like Sheamus, then whoever got eliminated, and do all of it by elimination, in reverse, and, first 2 eliminated, the 2 that opened the match, so on and so forth, and then end up with Sheamus going in last. But the only thing I would have done differently, but it was a pretty decent thing. The other good thing, this is hard, because Champ will tell you, even on Tuesday mornings when I watch Raw, because I'll watch it on demand in the mornings on my DVR, it's not fun. I'd have to say Miz TV, because of a little bit of foreshadowing, maybe. And the reason why I say that is because he might try to pull off an Edge tomorrow night. For those who don't remember or know, Edge, New Year's Revolution 2006, watched it the other day on the network. He waited until Cena won the Elimination Chamber match, and he was bloodied, literally. This is back when you didn't have the padding outside the ring itself in the chamber. It was just chain. It was steel, literally. Edge cashed in, won, literally. What's bad? Oh my God, where do I fucking begin? The absolute worst for me was Lana versus Shayna Baszler. It was a total fucking waste of time. Where the fuck's Rhea Ripley? Wasn't she supposed to be, air quotes, called up? God, just fucking embarrassed, just trash. I've had enough.
It's funny. It's funny too. This is so funny, because here's the funny part is, and I'll do this. I would have gave an honorable mention to Miz versus Kofi, because that was actually a really phenomenal match. Dude.
Yes, it was.
Like, that was a really phenomenal match. So I would have gave an honorable mention on the good side for that. And a dishonorable mention would definitely go to Lacey Evans is pregnant, because of the fact that she said, I'm pregnant, and then let it go, so that the implication is Ric Flair started to dance around like a fool, is that he's the father. And it's like, yo, she has a whole husband and a whole daughter. We know this.
It's,
Like, come on. And Flair has a whole wife who had COVID. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, all right. What are your bits for me, please? Before I get mad. I'm trying to get hungry.
Before you blow a gasket, let me calm you down for a bit. Gauntlet match. Randy Orton's promo with that was just really fucking bizarre.
Right.
Coffey versus The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Bunny winning the 24/7 championship.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
Miz TV.
Okay.
And Riddle versus the Lucha House Party.
You mean Riddle and the Lucha House Party versus the Hurt Business?
Riddle. Yeah, my bad.
Gauntlet match straight away. You said all the points that I would make about it. It was very, very well done. Sheamus had a nice touch with I'm gonna do my entrance. Here's my music, and guess what? No, I'm behind you, fella. And then still getting the victory to get into the chamber last and pin Drew McIntyre just the same. So I mean, everything points to Sheamus versus Drew being the last two left, and then Drew getting that payback victory and stuff like that. So yeah, I enjoyed the gauntlet match. Coffey versus Miz, like I just said, it was an honorable mention for Sid, but for me, it was the second good thing out of that 5 because it was absolutely just a banger of a match between those two. Really, really enjoyed it so much, dude. And like I said, people tend to like write Miz off because she seems to be locked in at as a mid-card comedy act, but the dude still has solid ring work and has one of the best characters in all of professional wrestling. So I mean, and then, of course, Kofi's still doing it at his age and his time in the company. I mean, it's just great. I mean, this is a really well done TV match. Well done TV match, and you know, I'm not very interested of TV matches because they tend to be the same. This was a really well done TV match. My bad thing, even though I shouldn't say this is my bad thing, but Bad Bunny winning the 24/7 title, I just can't. I get why this motherfucker is shirts and merch out the ass, and he's making an appearance on SNL on this Saturday night. This gets them exposure to an audience, but I still don't like it. I don't. The 24/7 title, R-Truth has the whole 24/7 division long, but now you incorporate this. So yeah, it has got to be Bad Bunny winning the 24/7 title. That's just it. Hector had a couple chiming in this raw topic, saying that his top of the same top of the barrel. Oh shit. Okay, bottom of the barrel. Miz TV backing out of the chamber. Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, he's Mr. Money in the Bank, so he has no reason to be in. He has a title opportunity, so I get it. Top of the same barrel was Kofi winning his spot in the second top the gauntlet match because it's Raw. Lacey Evans announcing her pregnancy was the most surprising part of Raw, but Vince and company still had the goal to turn it into a joke with Ric Flair. Yeah, and then on top of that, it took away a women's title match, which still continues to make Asuka look like complete shit, which is really pissing me off. I wouldn't be surprised to pick her bags and went right back to Japan, went back to fucking Stardom. I wouldn't be surprised if Kana came back. I would not be shocked. But I think she's here, she's moved here, she's established here, so I doubt she'll go back to Japan. But she needs to go to like Impact or something like that. Impact or AEW, because this is the shit. She's the top women's performer and all. She's been an MVP throughout this COVID era, and now in the latter part of her title, like trash. All right. Normally we would go to Impact here, but I felt like we need to go here first because this was a very, very interesting episode of Dark. It was a very unique episode of Dark, dude. Like, and people not watch it live when it premieres on YouTube. I have my cigar, I have my beverage, and I'm chilling. But this was a really weird episode of Dark. This didn't feel like a normal Dark. And I was afraid of this too. I was afraid that they was going to establish a certain level of quality for Dark, and then if they didn't get to that quality, it would be disappointing. And this one somewhat disappointed me. All right, Sith, what were your 5 bits that stood out from AEW Dark this week?
Let me see here. The main event, which was Nick Camarado versus Fuego del Sol. Eddie Kingston versus Aaron Solo. Gonna give you Shanna versus Renee Michelle. Kai Conti versus Verta Vixen. And Bear Country versus the Chaos Project.
That was number 1 for me, because as much as I can't stand Luther's ass, the Pentagon is just too funny to ignore. I can't ignore it, but Bear was a hell of a tag. A lot of fun with that. Number 1. Was number 2 for me. Because it's the fact of how hard it was with Ken. The fact that it was cold in Jacksonville because it's at night, so they don't always get the warm climate that's an amphitheater. Every time he chopped Solo, hurt his hands chopping chest as well. But then when you add in the cold, oh fuck me. But no, that was my other one. What? Hold on.
Okay.
Wow. Sorry, I was listening to the Twitch stream and it seemed like I was going. Okay, it's fixed now. Thank you. It was fixed. Okay. I had to take that out, and I'll take that in post. But Camarado main event anything. What is he doing to anybody who wants Fuego del Sol is that, but it was basically a squash. Your main event was a squash match. Your main event should be the most competitive match on the card, and it was a fucking squash match. No. That was my bad bit. That should not have been the main event at all. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to be, you know what? And this is going to make me look like such a fucking hypocrite. But I would have preferred Bear Country versus Chaos Project as the main event. As good as that match was, I would have preferred that. But we got Nick Camarado basically squashing fucking Fuego del Sol as the main event. When the show closed with that, I was so fucking confused. I'm like, wait, that was the last match? What? I was so fucking confused, dude. I was so confused. Okay. For you. Number 1. There were 12 matches on the card. 6 of them were squash matches. So all the squash matches. Number 2, Brandon Cutler versus Mysterioso. Number 3, Renee Michelle's debut in a losing effort to Shana. Bear Country versus Chaos Project. And the final one is actually going to be this. The 5th bit to react on the gimmick. The length of the episode, which was an astonishing 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 21 seconds for 12 matches. Just over an hour. So there are your 5. The squash matches, the 6 squash matches, Cutler versus Mysterioso, Renee Michelle's debut against Shana, Bear Country versus Chaos Project, and the episode going 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 21 seconds.
All right. Bear Country versus Chaos Project's my number one. I'm thankful, and I'm going to sound like a hypocrite, just like Champ. They should have been, as much as I detest Chaos Project in the main event, they should have been the main event. And
even she agrees. Ginger agrees too.
I have to admit something here. I didn't think Boulder and Bronson were going to work with this gimmick of Bear Country, but it's starting to grow on me. It's starting to work with me. So up on that as well. Shauna versus Renee Michelle, a decent match. It wasn't a disappointing because it was, her first Renee Michelle's debut, if you will. Champ and I have been constant critics of AEW and how they've handled their women's division, but this match is another notch in an attempt to clean up the issues, but still only doing Dynamite and Dark with a quarterly pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Worst, absolutely, hands down, is all the squash matches, which runs into the running time. What the entire fuck? I mean, I was like, with all these squash matches, I'm like, this is your main event? Really, I know we need to establish Powerhouse Hobbs as a monster heel, but really? Jurassic Express, literally, as much as I like them, in a squash. Casey Ricky Starks.
Let me stop you there. I gotta talk about. No. Let me stop you there. Ricky Starks, Casey Navarro should have been a 10-minute match, not 4 fucking seconds. The level of talent between those two guys, and it was only 4 fucking seconds. No, I cannot get with that. That is absolute garbage. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. Absolutely. Here we go.
I mean, I went back on YouTube just to make sure I was watching it right. Yeah, 4 seconds. And I'm like, the fuck?
Real quick, Seth, Hector had a comment here. Do y'all think Nick Comrade looks like a young Bruiser Brody, and what I need to do to get the Gangrel knockoff, aka Luther, off my screen because he's terrible? Listen, 12 matches in an hour. Yes, Hector. It was 12 matches in an hour and 6 minutes because 6 of those matches were squashes, including one that went 4 fucking seconds. Like literally, Ricky Starks got off the rope, didn't take off his chain. The bell rang. He speared Casey, counted 3, and that was it. When that happened, I literally had to put my cigar down and say, "Wait, did that just really happen? Did that just really happen?" Because I was expecting that match, dude. When I saw that match on the card, I said, "Oh, that's gonna be a banger, dude. I'm gonna enjoy that so fucking much." The bell rang. I'm like, "Here we go." Next I know, spear. I'm like, "Okay, speared him. 1, 2, 3. What the fuck? What the fuck is this?"
Okay. Let me also talk people off the ledge here for a second as well. Champ watches AEW Dark live. I watch it around 8, 9 o'clock at night, on the same night. Whereas I watch NXT UK live on Thursdays. So we don't give spoilers within the chats because we watch things at different times. But that 4-second match there, and I'm like, Champ was having a cigar at the time. That cigar probably dropped out of his mouth, or he had to put it aside wondering what the entire fuck. Oh my god!
Yeah, dude. Like that shocked the ever loving shit out of me. And then the length of the episode itself, like literally, it started at 7. I look and see it's over, and it's like 8:06. I'm like, what am I going to do with this time? What am I going to watch on my phone? I was expecting to watch that all the way to like 8:39. By the time my cigar will be done, I can come in, I can go to bed. But I'm like, fuck me. What am I going to watch? I ended up watching Tuesday's Impact on Twitch. On Jessica Havoc's Twitch, she was streaming it. So I went on the Twitch gimmick and was watching Impact, and then I ended up rewatching it because I knew I wasn't going to remember what I was watching. So I ended up rewatching it the next morning. But I was watching it live, and the great thing about it, and this is why people, if you don't have access, watch it on Twitch, because They don't have commercials on Twitch. They show you they show you like throwback matches and stuff like that, throwback moments that you could probably get on Impact Plus and stuff like that instead of commercials. So while the TV folks are on commercials and those Access TV commercials are trash, they are trash. But on Twitch, you don't get those. It's awesome. And like I said, if you can follow Impact's Twitch channel, you can follow Jessica Havoc. I'm wondering, there's probably a couple other Impact people that probably stream it. I don't know. But those are the two I know that stream it. And so if I get another situation where Dark decides it's only going to go like an hour or less, at least I know I can go on the Twitch, watch some Impact commercial free, and then just do the rewatch the next morning where I'm already fast forwarding through the commercials anyway. So let's talk about this past Tuesday's Impact, shall we?
Oh.
All right.
Like what you did there.
That segue was lit. That segue was lit. Hey, chat, give me my props. That was a lit segue. Come on now.
It was.
All right.
It was.
Here are your bits. Number one. Oh, heck to say, I could watch an episode of WWE Superstars at that time, 1 hour, 6 minutes. You're right. Yep. All right, number one. One problem with Impact's Twitch streams compared to TV, it's like 2 or 3 minutes behind. But again, for me, because I'm rewatching the next morning, that wouldn't concern me because I'm rewatching it the next morning anyway. 9 times out of 10, I'll probably get out of the stream and fall asleep or something like that. But like I said, it's for people who don't have Access TV, though. Again, because Access TV is not available in a lot of markets. So a lot of people like Donnie, who is our other co-host. He's he can't watch Impact because he doesn't have Access TV. So we told him, hey, just get on the Twitch. They showed on the Twitch live on Tuesday nights. Though he can't watch it, though I think they do provided video on demand. I'm not sure. I have to look. I'll look when Sith is talking. I'll look and see if they provided video on demand for that sort of thing. That way people can go back and watch Impact from Tuesday night and stuff like that. But anyway, so here are your bits, Sith. Here are your bits. TJP versus Josh Alexander for the X Division Championship. Finn Juice's debut against Reno Scum. The Old School Rules main event between Tommy Dreamer and Moose. Trey Miguel getting that victory in that fatal 4-way match. And Nevaeh versus Tenille Dashwood.
All 5 bits I actually enjoyed. So for those who are new to this format, where
take it comes that, to you asshole!
Hey. As CP3 said, I am not the king of assholes. That is reserved for one person and one person only with the network, my good sir. Anyway.
You're welcome.
But I am an asshole at times, I admit it. Just ask anyone who disagrees with me what I do in the basement. But anywho, enough of that.
By the way, the basement is uploaded every Sunday at 6 p.m. on this network.
Yep.
Or on his network.
Yep. Okay. Trey Miguel versus Daivari, Suicide Willie Mack. The X Division was lit Tuesday night. It really, really was. Trey hasn't missed a beat with his Rascal partners going to NXT. You know them as MSK over there. Willie Mack is extremely agile for his size. Daivari is proving that he's got it. Suicide is totally insane. Trey won. And I love how Sammy Callahan is still razor focused, asking Trey, are you going to stay or are you quitting? He's going to try to break Trey, but it won't be easy at all, as I think that Sammy will be a great opponent for Trey Miguel. Write that down, folks. Okay. Sammy Callahan versus Trey Miguel. I want to see this program develop. It's going to be wild. The debut of Finn Juice is my number 2 versus Reno Scum. It's good to have, again, more of that door opening up. Reno Scum did what they had to do to make Finn Juice look good and not get buried in the process. I enjoyed the warm welcome that turned into the ribbing with the possible match between the Good Brothers and Finn Juice. So good on that. The thing I liked the least, and this is an extreme reach, was Dashwood versus Nevaeh. I admire Nevaeh sticking things out on her own, but it's going to be a slow burn for her to have solo success. But she did have some good spots in this loss, though. But it's what I enjoyed the least of those 5 things out of a show that I thoroughly enjoyed. If I for you, though, you're going to call me an asshole for this. Possibly.
Well, it's funny. Before you do that, it's funny because I actually picked Nevaeh versus Tenille because I figured that would be the negative one you pick, even because the match was what it was. I will say the match was what it was. Oh, we got the mayor in the house. We haven't even gotten there yet, Mayor. We're still on Tuesday night. We'll get there.
What's up, Mayor? How you doing?
I think he just got finished being live for his podcast as
just
well.
Got done with
the Starting Five podcast.
Yep. Shout out to Starting Five podcast. Good friends of ours there.
Word. And Hector just said Dreamer versus Moose had to be the bottom of the barrel because it was getting ugly. Top of the same barrel had to be Josh versus TJP. Second to the top had to be the debut of Finn Juice and the interaction with the Good Brothers. That's a good shout. Good shout. All right, what are your bits from this, sir?
Josh Alexander TJP, which opened the show actually in the X division. Let's see here. Hernandez versus Matt Cardona. The idea of a 6-man tag and the winners end up in a triple threat for the number 1 contender for the X Division title. Finn Juice versus Reno Scum. Dashwood versus Nevaeh. And the main event, which was Moose Dreamer Old School Rules.
TJP versus Josh Alexander for me. That was an absolute technical classic between those two. People seem to forget that TJP, when he came into WWE, he was this high flyer, but he was also very skilled with holds and submissions and stuff like that. As he's gotten older, he's more ground-based and submission-based, but still can fly. And then Josh Alexander, just that classic professional wrestler. I mean, so classic. He actually wears headgear that you wear as an amateur. That's how classic of a professional wrestler this guy is. They really put on such a great match to open up the show. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it and everything like that. When I jumped on the Twitch stream when it was going on, I just missed it. I was able to rewatch back. I was able to watch it back, and oh goodness, it was amazing. So that's number 1. Finn Juice debuting is definitely number 2 because, as you said, Sip, that forbidden door is now wide fucking open. It's definitely wide fucking open because no one in their right mind thought that New Japan would ever work with Impact ever again after the way they treated Kazuchika Okada while he was on excursion. But here we are. Finn Juice is walking in, representing New Japan, and walking in the Impact Wrestling. So, forbidden door is so fucking open. It's crazy. I gotta agree that the bad bit is Nevaeh versus Hill because of the fact of where the story looks like it's going, which could be the breakup of Havoc and Nevaeh, which I don't want to see because there's a good duo. But I feel like maybe this has run its course, and maybe now it's time for them to go their separate ways. I just hate that this is where it's going, where it's like Nevaeh's losing confidence in herself. I always hate those type of storylines where someone's confidence may cause a rift in the tag team. They did that shit with Tana and Ibushi last summer, and it really like made me feel a certain way. Thank goodness that it turned out better, even though it didn't turn into a tag team title win for them. But it still was it did end in them breaking up as a tag team until they went into the G1 and they decided we should go our separate ways for a little while and do our thing. And now Kota Ibushi's the double champion and Tana's the never openweight champion. So there you go.
Hey, Champ, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Which is more annoying, Asian Karen or Katie Forbes?
It's Katie Forbes still. Asian Karen ain't. Look, Susan doesn't annoy me as much because she's playing her character perfectly. She's Asian Karen. She's playing that perfectly. Katie Forbes was just the most annoying ass trick in the world with the way she talked, the way she acted. She was just annoying. Susan is just making her character what it needs to be, which is great. It's a character you want to hate, and I don't hate it. I love the fact that it's working for her. That's just me.
Exactly.
Hector has a couple comments here. And yeah, Dan did say he just finished Starting Five podcast. So make sure you check out the Starting Five podcast. Check out the replay of that. Very good show right there. Sid's been on there a couple times. I'm still waiting for my invite, Mayor. God damn it. Thought we was going to get on there and chop it up about cigars and shit, dude. What's up? Fuck is good. Anyway. That's a real dude right there, man. I appreciate him. Hector said, anybody wonder when Ace is going to get his X Division championship opportunity for having won the Super X Cup at Genesis? Also, the Forbidden Door hasn't been burst open to where it's hanging off its hinges. You know what? You might be onto something. Because the fact that, again, New Japan and Impact working together, that should tell you that door is wide fucking open. Katie Forbes is annoying as hell. Susan makes me laugh a bit. Hey, fair play. Yeah, Katie Forbes is annoying as fuck. By the way, speaking of Katie Forbes, since you had to bring her ass up, her and RVD are engaged, by the way. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah, they're engaged now. RVD and Katie Forbes are engaged. They got engaged, I think, like last week or something like that. I heard it somewhere. I forgot where I saw that at. But yeah, they're engaged now. So now, if he ever comes back to any kind of if they ever come back to a wrestling organization that has TV and it's RVD, that means her monkey ass might be behind. And it's gonna be like, fuck me. I gotta see this bitch. Fuck. Anyway, anywho's, let's get to Wednesday. Let's talk about Dynamite, shall we? We're gonna talk about Dynamite. All you gotta do is say win, nigga. Shit. I'm waiting for my invite. Dog, I've been told you, like, we could get you on the podcast whenever. Like, shit, we can get you on the podcast next week. It's number 100. All you got to do is say what's up. All you got to do is say when. All this inter-promotional work has made Impact relevant to me.
Oh, damn.
Oh. Well, no. To be fair, Dan has told me plenty of times, plenty of times that he admires the fact that we're the only wrestling podcast that talks about Impact. We're doing the Lord's work when it comes to Impact. Because hell, not even the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast talks about Impact Wrestling in their week in review. They skip right over that and go straight to Wednesday. They don't even talk about Dark or Impact, but we do. So you get that here. I'm down. I bet. Well, I'll message you next week, bro. You can be on for number 100. It'll be a recap of Elimination Chamber. We'll have some fun. Fun. Oh, Hector's shocked too. He didn't know that Katie Forbes and RVD are engaged. Yes, they are engaged. Congratulations to the happy couple. The happy couple, including the annoying woman. Saying. Anyway, anywho, let's talk about Dynamite. We had it was interesting. It was an interesting Dynamite. You had a gender reveal. You had a bunch of tag matches. You had a very banging eliminator tournament match for the women, and then you had the announcement. Okay, you had an announcement of a match that hasn't been seen in the United States in God knows how long, or if ever, as well as hasn't been seen in Japan in years. So Seth, let's get into this. What do you have to say about this? What were some of the bits that stood out to you when it comes to this?
Matt Hardy, Hangman Page versus the Hybrid 2. Not only the match, but the trap after the match.
Okay.
Serena Deeb versus Riho. Santana and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
FTR versus the Seidel brothers. Our main event, which is Butcher, the Blade, and Eddie Kingston versus Johnny Moxley, Ray Phoenix, and Lance Archer. And I would have to say Serena Deeb versus Riho.
Okay. Serena Deeb and Riho is first because that had to be, in my opinion, one of the best women's matches AEW has put on in quite a long time. And the fun part about this match. Oh shit. Okay. Sorry. The part about this, the thing about this matchup that was so unique. First thing, this is Riho's return to AEW in almost a year. She hadn't had a match in AEW proper in America since March of 2020 when the pandemic hit and everything like that. And the pandemic hit, she ended up in Japan. She's back here. She got an amazing reception. And the other thing about this match that makes it so unique as to why it's so good is that Serena Deeb was working with a legit injured left leg, I should say. Her left leg was legit injured. And she was working through that. And because of that, it was just amazing to me that that's how good this match was and everything like that. I was amazed. It was one of the best women's matches. And then the event was definitely number 2. So awesome, so awesome, so awesome stuff, awesome stuff. And the aftermath to it was absolutely amazing with Kenny Omega announcing that he's giving Jon Moxley his rematch in a barbed wire exploding death match. Wow. I mean, wow. I mean, wow. What else can you say about that? But wow. So Sith, what were the other 3 that you had for this? Because I gave Riho Deeb in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
What were the other 3? You
said
Hangman Duping.
Yeah, Hangman, Hardy, Hybrid 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think here for a second here. Santana Ortiz versus Young Bucks. And FTR versus the Seidel brothers.
I liked all 3 of these, but I like what you did though. So I'm gonna say what I liked the least was FTR versus the Seidel brothers, and it wasn't that it was a bad match. It just, I couldn't get with it. I couldn't get with it. Ortiz, like Proud and Powerful, and the Young Bucks was what it was. And then Hangman, Hardy, all that stuff. Yeah, but I like FTR. I like FTR and the Seidel brothers the least, if that makes any sense. I liked it the least. That was just me, right? All right, getting ready to do something here, but before I do that, your bits, Sith, are as follows: the Rose baby gender reveal. Sting taking a bump in the ring for the first time since 2015. The 6-man tag team main event and the aftermath. Serena Deeb versus Riho. And Paige duping Hardy. What do you say?
Number 1, Serena Deeb versus Riho. Amazing women's match here. Probably one of the best. I'm going to go on record here. I'm going to go out on a limb here. one of the top 5 women's matches in the current history of AEW. Yes, AEW hasn't been around long, but this is one of the top 5 best women's matches in AEW history because it was just so compelling. It told a really good story. Yes, Deep targeted the recovered knee of Riho, which was pretty cool. Yes, Serena Deep was also banged up as well. Just a really excellent back and forth match. Number 2, would have to say Hangman Page pulling the wool over the eyes on Matt Hardy. That was hysterical. And Dark Order. Hangman. -1 even wants you to come in. Come be with your friends. We know you're not ready yet, but the door is open. Do not close the door on the Dark Order. Worst. Again, we have a case of what I liked the least. And this really sucks because it was a really good thing. But I'd have to say this really sucks, but the main event, although it's what I enjoyed the least, I really wish this would have been billed as a grudge match. You know, I'm nitpicking here when I say this, but they should have been picked as a grudge match because that's what this was. It was entertaining, but I'm looking forward to the exploding barbed wire match. I saw that and I was like, whoa. And then I was thinking,
well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Sif, because you're gonna keep talking and our guest is not got time to come on. We have a surprise guest.
We do, huh?
We have a surprise guest, and he wanted to come on just for this segment because of what you just mentioned, which is that barbed wire exploding death match that was announced at the end of the main event. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Starting 5 podcast, the mayor himself. What's going on, fam? What's going on? There he is.
What's up,
Hi, everybody. Y'all hear me good?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, we got you, brother. We got you. What's going on, brother? What's going on with you?
Man, shit. Like I said, just came off of a dope show. Thank you for shouting out to Star 5. And all that bullshit of, yo, I'm waiting for to be a guest, Dan should have told you a while ago. All you ever have to do is just say, yo, I want to come on. Dan does it all the time.
Okay, that's a bet. Yeah, like I said.
Guess what happens? Dan gets the link ASAP. So all you ever have to do is say, yo, I want to come on.
Okay, that's
okay. Next week we're wrapping up our next week's conversation. We're wrapping up our series of shows for Black History Month on Black culture is American culture. We're talking about it via sports next week. But yeah, you just started to talk about one of my favorite things for my current favorite wrestling promotion out today, which is AEW. First on AEW. This brought me fully back into professional wrestling the way I love it. Why? Is because it's given us an option, a viable option, something better that TNA/Impact has not done for me for years. They have improved. I will give y'all two, I'm pointing to both of y'all on the camera. I give y'all 2 props for being for y'all and the radio show on Sirius for being the only people to talk about that. But it has improved. I did watch the Tommy Dreamer Championship match the other day when Tommy fucking broke his finger and just kept on like a soldier. The only thing about that was Tommy looked blown up, and it was a hard match to watch because of just the situation, the environment, and everything. But AEW week in and week out gives me what I want to see, and this week took me that way with the announcement of the exploding barbed wire death match. Champ specifically, because we talked in the inbox about what my future plan is earlier this year, which is going to be sometime later this year, is I'm going to start a short mini series called the Exploding Ring match. It's going to be a short run podcast, maybe 8 to 10 episodes going in on Japanese deathmatch wrestling, and specifically Japanese deathmatch wrestling, because that's what I love, because they put art behind it. They did it right. They did it more than what a CZW does, where they take roofing spikes and jam shit in people's head. And like, I'm not talking like the light tube stuff like that. I personally don't like the light tubes, because that shit just too many little shards of glass and things like that. But when Kenny Omega made that announcement to Moxley, I was just like, yes. One, I mentioned CZW. They're bringing Moxley back to the CZW roots, and he loves that shit and performs and thrives well in that type of environment. Two, I never seen Kenny Omega in an environment like that, but seeing how he's been operating within AEW, he's showing me that he wants to do all the stuff that the rest of the American promotions will not do to take his company further, which is amazing. But three, to bring that kind of match to America that brought me immediately back to, and the first match I went back to after I heard the announcement was Atsushi Onita versus Hayabusa. Hayabusa happens to be my number one favorite wrestler of all time for multiple reasons.
Oh, from FMW, yes?
Yes. But it brought me back to that match, the one of many barbed wire exploding electrified cage matches they had. And I just said, yes, yes, yes. Like, it brought me back to FMW. It brought me back to Big Japan Pro Wrestling, which, if you know Big Japan Pro Wrestling's history, they've had some of the weirdest death matches. Like, they had piranha matches. They had cactus in the corner, turnbuckle matches, like all types of dumb shit. You name it, they've had it. And I had all the VHSs back in the day. So them announcing this match brought me back to that moment of the late 90s, early 2000s, of me running out here to Manhattan, to Chinatown, to go find these tapes. And now this promotion is taking a chance and bringing that to me here. Whatever Revolution costs, I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it.
So I have a question. I have a question for you there, Dan. And first off, I gotta say, Hector's a funny dude, because he just asks, does anyone kind of look and sound like Devon Dudley?
That's the five.
Because he said Sif looks like the Ultimate Warrior. Now he says you look like Devon Dudley. Hey, Hector, what do I look like? You haven't said that yet. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Hector hasn't seen my picture of me as Kamala.
Oh shit. Okay. But no, how do you think they're gonna do this match? Do you think they're gonna feasibly do this match in Daly's place? I don't think they will. I think they will do this off-site cinematic style, so that way it's a controlled environment where people can be soft the art of a match. What do you think?
Jaguar Stadium. Right in the middle. They don't need no fans. Tony Khan owns the motherfucker. Where else do they have to go? Right in the middle of Jaguar Stadium. They did it with the Stadium Stampede match. They can have select fans. You know, Florida's been open for the most part. WWE is about to have about 25,000 at WrestleMania in Tampa Stadium. They just had about 25,000 in Tampa Stadium for the Super Bowl. They can put 5,000 to 10,000 inside Jaguar Stadium, socially distance them to play safe for optic reasons, and have the match right there on the field. I mean, if they blow up some turf there, so what? The team sucks anyway. Let them take their time and fix the field later. But Jaguar Stadium is the perfect place. A match like that, I would not like it to be a cinematic match. To bring it back to its Japanese roots, the roots that Kenny Omega became a star under, the roots that John Moxley is carrying the United States Championship for New Japan All Pro Wrestling. So bring it to how Japan used to do it. And something that I heard on the radio show was, I was going to say bring in the countdown clock, but it's not an exploding ring match, so they can't do that.
Right. Yeah, no, they can't do that. It's a death match and stuff like that. I got to go back to one of your comments you made before we brought you on. You can't get past the fact Rio's only 98 pounds.
Yes.
Huh?
Yo, that when who JR mentioned it, I think, or no, Tony Schiavone mentioned it, and I fucking lost it because all right, I bring it down. I was watching the way I was watching the match. It gave me a couple questions, and I'm gonna throw to y'all in a minute. But when what's her name said, "Yo, she's only 98 pounds," I'm like, and then when she did her like double foot stomp to end the match, her finish off the top rope, I'm like, okay, I could take 98 pounds like nothing. Like that's just literally like throwing one of my daughters off of me. Like that, like a grown adult under 100 pounds. Where do you hear about that? That's was what I was laughing at the most. Like I've never heard of an adult being under 100 pounds in a very long time. I haven't been under 100 pounds since probably the third or fourth grade, maybe less, maybe further back. but but the question I wanted to throw to y'all, because specifically off of that match, one, it was what happened. So it made me bring this question of what happened to the jobbers. Now, AEW in some respects has been doing that, but they've been doing that with a lot of and not often, but at least once every few episodes, they're bringing up somebody from Dark who is still a lesser known name, and they are the proverbial jobbers. But nowadays, it seems more and more that it's known acts that were known in say other places, i.e., like Luther. Like I never heard of Luther until he came over here. Then I learned about his history with Jericho when they had that match and all that stuff. But Serena Deeb was just, or I believe is still the NWA champion, or was. I don't know where she's at now. But
Yes.
they just she's still the champion, but in my opinion, she gets utilized as quote unquote enhancement talent more than wrestling like a champion. Because what I see, and when a lot of people hate on the women's division in AEW, I believe they've doing a much better job recently. Thank you, Thunder Rosa, 100,000%. But it's the lack of story. It's the lack of story behind it within in a lot of them. Like they bring up my girl Nyla Rose, and then she's off TV. They bring up Riho. They was starting a program with Big Swole, and Big Swole hasn't been on TV in a little while. So that's one of the issues. But I kind of sidetracked off of my jobbers statement. Like you see, even in the WWE, you see a lot of known names that are lesser used, but are used more as just to take the L. But what happened to those people that was specifically there as quote unquote enhancement talent?
I think I'll answer this first sentence. I'll answer this first sentence, and then you can respond. I think that the business has evolved to the point, like I've noticed, even starting back in like 98, 99, that started utilizing jobbers less and less on the bigger TV shows like Raw and SmackDown, whereas they had shows like Heat and Velocity, and then with TNA you have Explosion and stuff like that, where you can have your established stars get given enhancement talent to work with and things of that nature, or they do like in dark matches before TV even starts. So I think it's just the evolution of the business, where back in the early 90s when I first started watching wrestling, that's all you had was on Superstars. You had established talent against enhancement talent. Established talent against enhancement talent. Correct. Yeah, exactly. Unless there was a feud, it was just going up against enhancement talent to just build them up as a star to get them ready for whatever feud they were getting ready to have. And I think that the business has just evolved to the point now where it got to, let's make stars in another way instead of just giving that we give the street and give them $50 to just take the L with this person. Let's do it a different way. But what I like about AEW is that that's what they have for. They have dark because that's where you get established talent going up against quote unquote air quotes enhancement talent, which a lot of these indie people that they're bringing in, they are known wherever they've been at. Some of us may not know who they are. Like, give you an example. Last year, who was it? It was Wardlow. Wardlow went up against a gentleman by the name of Grimm. You know who Grimm is? do from my city. And he's a current champion in a promotion in Delaware. And he was part of a tournament last February to crown the first ever Pan-African World Diaspora Wrestling Champion. That championship currently held by Trish Adora. I know who Grim is. People who are in the DC metropolitan area know who Grim is. People who are in Delaware know who Grim is. But the rest of the country probably had no idea who Grim is.
Right. So,
but we knew. And that's the thing, is that a lot of these enhancement talents, these indie guys are being brought in as enhancement talent, not only as enhancement talent, to give them something to do, because indie wrestling in this country, for the most part, is still not all the way open yet. There's still a lot of states that have very strict mandates, and a lot of events like wrestling can't be done and stuff like that. So, that's basically what it is. But Sid, what do you got to say about this? Because I know you got a good idea about
to add on to that, because what you said it made total sense now. Because when you think back, like you said, the late 90s, 99, 2000s, things like that, Vince had an overload of stars. And that was the thing. So many people, because in that era, that was the era where you was allowed to get over on your own. Even it's crazy to think that under the WWF umbrella at the time, you were allowed to get over on your own. And that's what happened. And then, of course, like you said, the consolidation of WCW, the consolidation of ECW. What do you do with all these guys who were former stars elsewhere? So you made total sense with that. And like you mentioned, Dark is the place to give people TV time that deserve it. So good points.
Yeah.
So what do you got to say with that?
Yeah. I remember growing up, I'm a little bit older than these two cats who I absolutely are my brothers, and I can remember watching Worldwide Wrestling, World Class Championship Wrestling, WWF Superstars Wrestling Challenge, and seeing jobber talent out there, week after week. And I admit, a place in my heart misses it, and that's why I like Dark so much, is because for the most part, it's enhancement talent. It's developmental stuff. And big props to AEW, because in this pandemic era, Dark has really given us a lot to sift through where it comes to developmental talent, where it comes to jobber talent that few people had heard of. I mean, Champ and I were big fans of Sean Dean, Ben Carter. Danny Jordan's really looking okay, really starting to grow on me a bit. I mean, slowly but surely, Dark became must-see TV. When NWA Power was on, guess what? They had a lot of jobber talent out there. That's where we got to know Ricky Starks. Absolute Ricky Starks. We got to know him there on NWA Power. They had developmental stuff there, in Billy Corgan's version of the NWA. So it's not so much dead. The problem is that with the mainstream product of Impact, WWE, AEW Dynamite, you're pushing your main talent and you're leaving behind the people that are developmental. Right. I mean, even NXT has become more of a third major brand for WWE in some aspects.
No, let's keep it real. It is the third.
Yep.
It is, and they need to start treating it that way.
Something, I believe it was Daniel Bryan. No, it wasn't. It was one of the wrestlers mentioned that they really need to get NXT, really need to get a developmental territory back strictly for that, because of how NXT has grown into a third major brand. And that's where NXT evolved.
I'm glad you just said that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you just said that, because there was a report that came out that they just recently produced some content for an NXT show called NXT Progress, which sounds like it's going to be NXT's developmental show. So it looks like it's already in the works. It looks like it's getting ready to come out. They're using the Progress banner. They're using the NXT banner, but also using Progress as well. So I think a lot of Progress wrestlers who were part of that organization before it closed are now going to finally get an opportunity to be shown on TV. And look, with the move to Peacock, I mean, look at this. This is more content that's going to be on Peacock.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, but you
Saying.
guys all said a lot of valid stuff. But
Well,
again,
not progress, evolve. I'm sorry. Hector.
Yeah,
Hector
evolve. Yeah.
Hector just corrected me. It's evolve, not progress. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I heard the same. I heard the same thing too, champ. But yeah, no, it's. I think a lot of it did have to do with the evolution of more stars around, consolidation of companies and things like that. So yeah, I see and kind of y'all helped answer, and me, I helped answer myself with the question. But thanks for that. But yeah, man, I mean, last thought I'll leave on. AEW right now is my favorite to watch on a weekly basis. WWE, I pay for the network. It's worth it for just the pay-per-views alone. I go back and watch a lot of the older content and stuff on there. I hate the fact that they lost copyright issues, have copyright issues with music, especially the ECW stuff and that whack-ass version of the song In the Ghetto that they give New Jack and all that. Like, I hate that. But AEW is my shit. AEW, yeah, it's terrible. It's fucking horrendous. But what was I going to say about AEW? Shit, what was I going to say about AEW? I'll leave it off as I'm thankful for a company like that. Oh, and no, this will be the last thing I say because I got to go. I got to leave. But next week, when I do come back, I want to have a discussion with y'all behind NWA Power because I'm going to leave y'all with this. I think they dropped the ball immensely. And why? One, they filmed in Georgia. Georgia's kind of been open. Small 300-seat place that they use. They could socially distance with less than 300 in the place. It's studio wrestling. Controlled environment, so you set your own bubble. I believe their issue has been money, which I'm still hearing that the issue has been money. And they lost so much talent recently. It's all of that combined. To me, they dropped the ball. And they should have been flying very high in these COVID times. And I don't like the fact, though I love Nick Aldis, I don't like the fact that he doesn't want to compete and put that championship up elsewhere. I think that is more of a detriment to NWA than anything else, besides maybe Corgan and money issues and things like that. But think on that. Table that for next week. Much love to y'all, brothers. I'm out.
Much love, man.
Man, we appreciate you coming on, man, on such short notice. And yeah, like we'll have you on as the big 100. So why not have the mayor of the Starting Five podcast on as a third host and just chop it up wrestling rise with us for a couple hours? How about it? Why not?
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll work.
More death matches, more exploding rings. And I'll explain to y'all why Hayabusa is my guy. Number one. Hayabusa number one. Rest in peace. Peace, y'all.
We'll keep that in mind. My man. Take care, brother.
Peace out, bro.
That was great to have there. That's the mayor again, one of the hosts of the Starting Five podcast, which you can search for on Facebook. You could just search the Starting Five podcast, and there's also a group you can join. That's where they usually live stream the podcast itself, and you can find the Starting Five podcast on all podcasting platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., etc. So thank you to the mayor for coming in, and we see all the comments from Hector. We see those. Sorry we didn't get to him. Last minute guests, like we literally didn't plan to have that happen, literally. But he wanted to come on. He said he had a few minutes, and I was like, you know what? Let's get the big guy on. Let's talk. Let's chop it up. I know he was mad excited about that match that was announced by Kenny Omega. All right, we got 2 more shows to talk about, plus the NXT report, and then we'll be done. This is going to end up being a 3-hour podcast, for fuck's sake. Damn it. Anyway.
Oh man.
All right, so let's talk about NXT. Let's going to change this little banner here. And then we're going to talk about NXT. Oh, man. NXT was another really interesting show. It was the fallout from Vengeance Day. So, of course, the fallout included the, congratulating the 2 winners of the Dusty Classic. which will be MSK and then Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. We fall out in terms of what happened with Kyle Riley and Cole and Balor and all that stuff. You had a lot going on. So I'm going to give you your bits here, Sith, for NXT this past Wednesday, which lost out in the ratings, by the way.
Yeah.
More time, more ad revenue. I really wish that was the case. Anyway, I mean, to be fair, before I give you this, to be fair, if we end up becoming an affiliate on Twitch, we will probably need to do longer streams anyway, because that will bring in a lot in terms of bring in quite a bit in terms of Twitch affiliate stuff. We'll see. All right, number one, Swerve versus Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Leon Ruff. Number two, the Dusty Cup Winners segment, the entire segment. Kushida versus Tyler Rust. The main event tag match, and then the subsequent aftermath. And finally, The Way find Austin Theory, yet they lose their match. There you
go. First up, The Way versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. My main take, I enjoyed not only the match, but, Austin Theory being found was also good. It was a really solid match that built up more of a story. Okay. Gargano was lit on commentary, solid match. And it's the reason why women's tag teams are hoping that things change on the main roster, because you know well that women's tag team wrestling on the main roster is marginalized at best. And I'm going to say this now, fam. This is far from over between Dexter Lumis, Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, and The Way. This is not even close to being done.
Okay.
Fucking awesome. The main event, Dunn, Lorcan and Birch versus Balor, O'Reilly, and Strong. It was an exciting main event. And we're building a mystery with Adam Cole's intentions, what they are. Now, for people who thought that Kyle O'Reilly had a seizure at the end, in the aftermatch thing, he didn't. He was selling the bumps he took from Adam Cole outside the ring. This whole story has become a plot twist, and I can't wait for Adam Cole to explain himself as to what's happened here. Because, dude, we got to know what the hell's going on here. I can't wait for that. I need that. Whether it's this coming week, whether it's in the coming weeks, we got to know. Why did Adam Cole do what he did, besides the quest for gold? The only bad bit, and it's a stretch, is Tyler Rust versus Kushida. I don't know what's going on with the pairing between Malcolm Bivens and Tyler Rust, but I gotta wonder how much longer will this partnership last? Okay, a week or two ago, it was Rust putting his foot in his mouth for a match. Now Bivens is doing it. I got news for Rust. You were disposed of, because Kushida is razor focused on that North American Championship, and nothing is going to break that at all, except maybe Dexter Lumis, but we'll see. But again, it was a stretch, because I enjoyed NXT overall for the most part.
Okay. All right, what are yours?
Okay, with you, the Dusty Cup presentation, the entire thing.
Gotcha.
Giving our love for this tag team. Caden Carter and Casey Cantazaro were in action this week against Alea and Jessica Mia.
Okay.
The opening segment with Kyle O'Reilly demanding answers from Adam Cole, Roderick Strong showing up in Balor, then the attack. Just a crazy opening.
Mm-hmm.
Santos Escobar's message that him versus Karrion Kross will happen on his time, not William Regal's time.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love heel work. And Pat McAfee saying that he knew better than the wrestling community about Adam Cole.
Okay, my first one's going to be that opening segment because I like the fact that Kyle, he had emotion. At first, he was calm and was like, hey, if you come out here and tell me the truth, I may still punch you in the mouth, but I'll still forgive you. X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. And then getting interrupted, you can see him getting madder and madder and everything, and it led to what happened in the main event. Not even in the match, but just opening. Roderick went up to do the UE pose, and Kyle O'Reilly just walked past like he was a visitor. Like he didn't give a fuck about what he was talking about. So that's number one for me, is that right there. Number two has to be the presentation, the Dusty Cup presentation, only because of how silly and goofy MSK were being, the little rascals. They were just being absolutely fucking silly gooses, man. And because of that, it just made it so. And then when Raquel said that about the hole and sticking the boots up the hole, and then one of them out with, they had the popcorn, just everything about that just made it. Even with the awkwardness of the promos between the two ladies teams, they just made that segment so awesome just because of their reactions and having the popcorn and everything like that. Went for me. I gotta tell you, that's what made it for me. So those are my two. My one bad bit. It had to be. It had to be. And this is a stretch because even everything. Oh, the other three that you mentioned. What are the other three you mentioned? What were the other three that you mentioned? You had the opening promo, and then you had the opening promo, and then you had the presentation. So what were the other three? I know it was Casey Catanzaro versus and Casey and
Mm-hmm.
Casey and Caden versus Jesse and Aaliyah. And then you said Santos Escobar's promo. What was the third one?
Pat McAfee's promo.
That was my only bad bit. And that's a stretch because he's such a great promo. But it was just like, okay, we get it, fam. Like you already told us on Twitter that this, and now you're just gonna just do a random promo in the middle of the show. Like, why wasn't this put at the beginning of the show? Or the wrap up, the recap of the event when this happened. And then he pops in and said, "Hey, I told you so. This happens in the middle of the show. It just made no sense." As good a promo as it was, I just didn't like it where it was. It could have been somewhere different. And after, yes, Eli Drake did show up on the episode. They did a vignette. I did a promo where they were at his house, and he came out and said, "What the hell are you doing here? Go away." And then he hit his line and said, "Hold on, let me talk to you." And then he talked, and he did a great promo, by the way. Great promo. He's gonna do so well in NXT. I hope the guy he does so well in NXT, dude. Like seriously, the guy's a former NWA Tag Team Champion. Had the opportunity to be national champion. Then the world went to shit and everything like that. But I think he'll do well. I really do think he'll do well. I really do. All right, Wednesday night, and now you know what that means. It's time to talk Thursday and the NXT UK report from the basement this week. So, Sith, what are we talking about this week?
We are discussing a slobber knocker main event between Joe Coffey of Dallas and Rampage Brown. We are discussing a Heritage Cup match and also a very cool press conference as well to give us a preview of what's going to be a match in 2 weeks. All that and more with the NXT UK report right here and now.
Right, we're back. Sorry, like when I kind of cut off the rest of your outro. If I'm gonna start mixing autos on that, it'll work better on my phone. And no, Hector, there were no technical difficulties. I actually literally left from my seat because I was waiting to go preheat my oven so I can cook my burgers for my dinner and stuff like that. So no technical difficulties. I just stepped away. All right, so let's get to this final segment, this final part of the week in review. We get to our final segment, which is our final thoughts, and then we will get up out of here. Hopefully, this is not going to be a 3-hour podcast. Maybe we can keep it under 3 hours. We'll see. All right, SmackDown. What do you got for Sith? What do you got?
Okay, what do I have for you? The opening promo that's kicked off the show. Apollo Crews turning heel at long last. Ding Dong Hello Bailey's little segment that, of course, turned into a 6-person tag. Otis turning heel again in a match between the Alpha Academy versus the Mysterios. The main event. And Seth Rollins coming back with one.
The main event straight away. The main event is straight away number one. Just the action, and in the aftermath of it, everything. This is how you properly build up one of your matches on your pay-per-view. And I mean, what else do you from it? You have 6 people who are all in the chamber, all vying at the top guy, and Daniel Bryan win is giving everybody hope that he'll win the chamber. He won't. My pick is Cesaro. He's giving everybody hope and make you know that freaking Sammy's not going to win. The heels are not going to win. It's going to be the good guys, and then Mabaz Rome going to absolutely still batter them anyway. And then my second would be Rollins' promo, because he's got that mixture of still like the Messiah, but also the delusion, and also like he's a Chad, which is the male version of Karen. It's so I'm right. So amazing. That was good. The segment that I did not like was Ding Dong Hello. It was just too much going on. And then Reginald, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, you're supposed to be the sommelier for Carmella. You're bigging up. You're hyping up Sasha and trying to discourage fucking Bianca Belair. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand him to situation with them 4 women. That confused the ever loving fuck out of me. Because of that, no. Didn't like that segment at all, and I hated for Karen, aka Bailey. But yeah, I wasn't feeling that segment at all. All right, your turn. Mob Boss Roman didn't start off the show technically. I mean, he was in the opening segment, Hector, but you're right. Edge was the first person out instead of Mob Boss Roman, so yeah, that's a change up. All right, speaking of, here are your bits. Number 1 was that opening segment between Mob Boss Roman and Edge. Number 2, the 6-man main event and the aftermath, which included Edge getting speared. Seth Rollins' promo, both Apollo Crews and Otis' heel turns. See, I put them together instead of separating them. If you'd have did that, you'd have had a better shot. And Reginald teaming up with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair and getting the pinfall victory over Nia Jax.
Hey, fam. Number 1, Seth Rollins. Look, this promo reminded me of when Seth came back from that really bad ACL injury that he had to have surgery for. And he was just this arrogant anti-hero. And it took several weeks for him to really cement what he was going to be. Either the anti-hero or a babyface or a heel. And that's what this reminded me of. And also reminded me, it was like a mix of that when Seth was like in the Authority and also the Messiah, all mixed into one. So it was really, really, really good shit. Really enjoyed it. Number 2 was the main event and everything that ensued. It was total insanity, and it was the perfect way to have a final match before the Elimination Chamber. Is to let all 6 competitors show the stuff in the ring, and post-match is absolute bedlam. Okay? This may have sold the pay-per-view for people that are on edge of going, should I resubscribe to the network, or should I try to go over and see this on pay-per-view? This may have helped sell it. You made this easy on me, bruh. Banks,
Good.
Belair, and Reginald versus Karen, Jackson, Baszler. Oh, this was absolute shit. This was shitty. The good thing was that Reginald getting the W because it protects the whole thing. Okay, it protected Bailey, it protected Shayna Baszler, it protected Nia Jax. So you're good with that because you couldn't have Sasha Banks or Bianca Belair eat the pin. You have them eat the pin. It makes these 3 heels look weak in their storylines. You can't have that. So in a way, I understand the.
Sith, I think you're confused. Because you said it would make the heels look weak if they took the pin from Sasha or Bianca.
I think it helped them more taking it from Reginald because Reginald's like an outlier to all this. That's the only thing. My honorable mention are the heel turns. That's my honorable mention. Apollo Crews, the 2 of us have been saying slow burn, there's going to be a heel turn. There you go. It happened, and it was beautifully executed. And a lot of people didn't like Otis turning heel. Why not? Why not? Okay? Why not? He needed a kick in the ass. It proves to me that they really needed monster heels in the mid card. This helps cement it right here. So that's an honorable mention for me.
Right. Okay. And Hector, yeah, we did catch the subtle dig with Jericho when they were talking with KO, Daniel Bryan, and Cesaro. So we caught that. All right, it's time for our final thoughts. It's time for final thoughts here, where we get to just talk about something, whether it's wrestling related or non-wrestling related. And there we go. That's how we close up the show. Sith will kick us off with his final thoughts, and then I will give mine. Okay?
Okay, final thought. And it's something that people need to understand. A lot of people are, coming at me these days asking me, why is it that you bash Raw so much? I don't take pride in bashing it. The product just sucks week to week. I mean, this was the first week in ages where Dark was just slightly over an hour long. So instead of 14 hours, we had 13 hours of wrestling this week. But Raw still felt bad. And this is your go-home show for Raw. And it's nothing personal before we'll go after me and Champ. It is nothing personal against Lacey Evans. We wish her and your family all the best with the pregnancy. We hope the baby is born healthy. It's just the way that creative threw it out there and worked it was just totally shit. And by the way, you want a little bit of fun tomorrow in the basement? We're wrapping up the Sith Essentials in Q&A. Someone had the calls to ask me about a B-horror movie franchise that I've seen all the way through, so we're going to cover that. And also, big stimulus update, all that in the basement tomorrow. Champ, your final thoughts, homie?
Right. So, and I was going to use this last week, and we didn't have the show, but so I'm going to keep it anyway. So it's a really lovely young lady that's on. She's part of the House Meg community. Her name is Becky, and she just started doing Twitch streaming herself. She's been doing a couple Twitch streams, just chatting, where she chats. She does have a bit. She does have a bit of an issue when it comes to anxiety with talking in front of people. And so I've been in her Twitch chats helping her by, asking her questions so that she could create the content with the just chatting aspect of things. One had a couple gentleman was in there chatting along with us. And next thing you know, her follower count went up. Like, I mean, up. And she had one of the most wholesome and such natural reactions that I've ever seen, where she just started crying tears of joy because starting to see in only just her, she hasn't done a lot of streaming, but yet she's already getting close to that status where then she can monetize it, play games and things of that nature, and really do something and market herself. She's an aspiring wrestler. She wants to become a wrestler. She's made some really dope designs of wrestling gear, and also I'm also a mod on her Twitch stream. So I'm like, this is the second Twitch channel I'm a moderator for. The first one was a gentleman by the name of Raheem, who has a channel called Gambit Plays, and I'm a mod there. He does different games. He also does the art thing. He actually made his own emote on a Twitch stream, which is a really cool emote. But got to give a big shout out to Becky for overcoming that sort of anxiety-laced fear of fear of speaking in front of people and wanting to speak, especially when you speak. She speaks so passionately about wrestling and her dreams and goals of becoming a wrestler, and designing her gear, and as well as the wrestling that she watches, which she's more of an AEW fan. She stopped supporting WWE because of the fact that they someone who was named in the Speaking Out movement, and he's still employed there. So she stopped watching WWE, but she does watch AEW and stuff like that. So Becky, if you are listening, I'm hoping you are. I did ask if you would listen because of this. Just want to say, very proud and looking forward to seeing you grow as a streamer and grow as a person and become a wrestler. And I want to see Becky wrestle in the United States in about 4 or 5 years. That's on God. All right, that's all I got. And finally, we will be back at it roundtable on Monday. We didn't do the roundtable this past week because they didn't have the Sports on the Hills podcast this past week, so it was a pop-up roundtable with Ryan. They went through the past 4 games, but this week we will be back at it with the proper roundtable, talking about this past week where the Wizards have actually won. Get this, they've won 3 in a row, but they're now on a very tough West Coast swing, which will see them play the defending NBA champions, the Lakers, on this road trip. So about to be a tough stretch for this team. We'll see what happens, but I will be on with the roundtable tomorrow on Monday, proper with the Sports on the Hill podcast. So make sure you check that out. So that's all we got for you on this week's edition of the No Spots podcast. We thank you all for joining us. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/No Spots Pod. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at True No Spots Pod. Make sure you search for us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel there. And make sure you follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/True No Spots Pod. Again, we will be doing the live reactions and watch along for WWE Elimination Chamber 2021 on Twitch exclusively on Sunday, beginning most likely at 6:25-ish. Will be myself and Sith. And you're welcome to be in the comments to watch along, react with us. Got to thank Dan, the mayor from the Starting Five podcast, for jumping on the last minute humble to chat wrestling with us. We will work it out. He will be on next week, hopefully for the big 100 the 100th episode. We hope to have him on for the entirety of the podcast because he clearly has a lot of wrestling knowledge. He's an old school wrestling head like all of us are on this podcast. So it'd be great to pick his brain on some things and everything like that. So can't wait for that. So we'll see you guys again. Again, this podcast, number 100, will be streaming across both Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We're going to figure out start time. It may be 5, it may be earlier. We don't know yet. It depends. It'll definitely depend on what the mayor is looking at in terms of when he's available, stuff like that. But I'm rambling, so we're done. Hector, I don't know if you would come off as dumb. You seem to know a lot more than you give off. I'm going to be honest with you, but we'll talk about that later. But anyway, we're out of here. And on video. No, I feel you. A lot of people get nervous getting on video. That's why I had to big up Becky because again, she's very nervous when she's on video. So I try to help her through that and everything like that. All right, we're out of here. We'll catch you guys next week. Again, do remember the basement 6 p.m. on Sundays. Make sure you search for that on all podcasting platforms. Same with Sports on the Hill podcast on all podcasting platforms, and this one on all podcasting platforms. Take care, guys. See you next. Well, Nada would say, see you next time.
Peace out.